Yellow, yellow.
Hello.
Hey, King Great. Welcome to the stream.
You're the first one here.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least the first one to say hi. Or tally ho.
Sure.
Okay, so, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, just ruining my life with open source stuff. Yeah, it's.
Figuring out the horrible, amazing thing that is braids.
Yeah.
Hard enough to learn in real life, even worse to learn in a 3D program.
I learned to braid things in real life because I grew up in a farm. So we had to do our own ropes and stuff.
So you learned really early then.
Yeah. You'll remember the pain in the fingers.
Oh.
You know, poor people's life. It's never easy.
No, it's not. I had friends growing up who had who worked on farms, like their families owned farms, and it was not easy. It was very difficult. So I completely understand the grief.
Okay, that's tentacle 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, I was trying to figure out things, and then I remember, yeah, I named those things for a reason. But I cannot remember which reason.
Why did I not duplicate this? Yep.
So how's everyone doing today?
Goodness, I am doing well. I am working on. Well, actually, right now I'm trying to figure out why this isn't. Oh, there we go. I am working on a not 3D, but I'm working on a 2D PNG avatar for streaming because I think I'm going to start streaming again.
Yes, you should do it. You should do it. Come on, people love you.
Aw, thanks.
No, they do.
I just have to figure out what time is the best time.
Yeah, that's a big one. For me, I figured this time because it's an in between. Because for me here in Sweden, it's 9 p.m. So for the US, it's sort of midday. So it's okay for people there.
Yeah, I've got to figure out like what time is the best. From what I understand, like the weekend's usually a pretty good time, but then that means that you're competing with all the other people who are streaming.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. King Greed says that it works out well for him because he had his day off.
Ooh.
So that's good.
Okay, how many steps I added? 1, 2, 3, 4, and the knot. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that should
I wish you the best of luck figuring out how the hell that thing does what it is doing.
I mean, this one, it's quite organic on itself.
Yeah.
But it's maybe too chaotic for me right now.
Yeah, well, no, it's okay. I understand. It just, you were telling me, you're like, don't really feel like that's the best could have done, so you're trying it this way.
Yeah.
Sorry for all the creaking. Something's up with my chair. I need to, like, check it. It shouldn't be making all these squeaky noises. A nuisance.
Don't forget, make it look like it's an accident, you know.
if I break it, like, it's not because I was trying to fix it. It's because it broke on the phone. It's fine.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna use this directly.
Good.
Yeah, okay. So that one goes away. This one comes back. I make a duplicate. And I'm gonna call it Bread Stew the Vengeance. Bread Stew the Vengeance.
Sounds like me naming my save files. I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition with my my boyfriend because I've always intended to play it, but recently he started hounding me, going, "You have to play it now." I'm like, "I will," and he goes, "No, you won't ever." So he bribed me. He's like, "I'll play the game that you keep suggesting if you play this one."
Ooh.
And I was like, "Okay, fine, fine, you win." It's fine because it's not like it was bad or anything. It's a great game. So
I was going to ask, how's the experience so far?
Pretty good. I did not expect the backstory that I picked for my character to be quite so dark. I expected it to be somewhat dark because I picked. I don't know. Do you know a lot about Dragon Age Inquisition?
No, not really.
Or Dragon Age?
I haven't played it. Inquisition isn't. I think that's the
Inquisition's
one that has a
the more
Krogan head, but that's all I know.
That's the most recent one. I keep calling it that for some reason, but that's not the game. It's Dragon Age Origins is the first game.
Oh, okay.
The city elves. Okay, so the general backstory in this world of Thetis is that the elves were the ones who basically lived here before humans arrived. Humans showed up, and for a little while they were fine, and then they got to arguing, and then the elves decided that they were going to conquer humanity to keep them from being a pain in the ass. And then humans rose up, and now the elves are the ones in the subservient position. So while they're not slaves exactly, their people have been very heavily oppressed. Like, they can't own certain kinds of things. They're treated very poorly at their jobs and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like it went full circle, and nobody came out the winner. But I picked that as my background for my character, and like BioWare does in all of their games, it has a little story for you to go and figure out who your character is before the game proper starts. I did not expect mine to go the way it did. Like, I knew that my character was going to start out living in a really bad neighborhood and have like no money. I did not expect sexual assault.
Damn.
Like 20 minutes into the game. Yeah. It's especially bad if you play a female character, because if you're a guy character, you have to try and get all the people who got abducted back. If you play a female elf, you are one of the people who gets abducted. So you're with the girls when they get dragged to this lord's keep because he decides he wants to abuse them for funsies, because he's an ass. And thankfully it's not explicit, but like, you're trying to find your cousin the whole time because she's been dragged off, and when you find her, she's sitting on the floor crying, surrounded by a bunch of people, and I'm like, uh-oh. Well, hopefully we made it before anything happened. And no, when it's over and you talk to her, you find out that no, you did not make it in time.
Oof.
And the only, I guess, interesting thing that comes of that is that it gives you an extra line when you talk to the human king after you leave that town, because that's when you become a Grey Warden, and the plot proper moves forward. Is when he asks how you came to join the Grey Wardens, you can just straight up tell him that you killed a noble and his entire household because they assaulted your cousin, and he'll just stand there and go, "What? What happened?" And I'm like, "Yeah, me too. I also want to know what the hell happened."
Hey, it's my cousin Vinny. Yeah, it's a family thing. I had to protect my cousin.
I had to put down a guy, So, of course, there's in Bioware fashion, there's lots of options to go with. You can have sarcastic quips. You can be polite to people. You can also be a total asshole. Like, God, there's a dude who's panhandling in the city because he was trying to work a job for some humans building something, and part of the building collapsed, and he got hurt so badly he can't walk now. And because he's an elf, the humans didn't send for a healer to heal his wounds with magic. So he's now crippled forever, and he asks you to give him some money, please. And, you can give him money, or you can be a total asshole and tell him that you're not giving him anything, and if he wants to make money, he should just rent himself out as a table. And I was like, why can you say that to him? That's so terrible. I feel like such a monster that I can say that.
I will help you, but turns that I am an elfist or something.
It turns out that I am just as nasty as the people who abuse us. So. But yeah, I knew it was gonna be kind of dark, but because I've seen the beginnings for other races, but I didn't expect it to be that dark. Like, I've seen the startup for the dwarf, where you're castless, you're an outcast in their society, and your entire thing is trying to run errands for this basically gangster guy who's got your sister working kind of as a prostitute. The entire deal with her is that she's supposed to catch the eye of a noble and get into his family, which would make you guys nobles, and then through some process, this means that this gangster guy would get to be a noble too, and that's what he wants. But yeah, that was pretty dark, but then you end up getting out of there and you're fine. But some of them get real dark, like holy cow. I don't know what the mage one is like, but I know that the mage one's probably really dark too, because mages in Ferelden are feared. Because the way that magic works is it comes from a different reality, I guess, called the Fade. And it's a place that human beings and elves go when they are sleeping. And because those two species can interact with the Fade, some of them end up with magic. But mages, because they are so close to the Fade, can easily get possessed by demons. And just getting upset and not controlling their powers means they could level an entire city. So people, when they find out that their kid's a mage or whatever, they send them away to basically what amounts to magic prison. They say that it's for, it's like, it's like a school where we teach you and you can live here. Yeah. Except you can never leave it ever for any reason, and you will never see your family again. And if you do anything that we think is bad, we will make you tranquil, which is basically the magical equivalent of a lobotomy. You will have no emotions anymore, and you'll never get to do magic again. It's like, okay, oh god, that's terrible. So, I mean, things aren't really much better for the Templars that guard them either, because those Templars have to constantly take a mineral called lyrium, which gives them powers so that they can fight mages, but it's incredibly addictive and super not good for you. So that's not great. The world of Fade.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It's a little dark. But yeah, I didn't expect the first part to be quite that bad. Where I was like, oh my lord, holy cow.
I think I'm making my life just harder for the sake of it. Because I thought, yeah, maybe if I just snap the old curve into the new one, maybe it will be easier. But no, it's
not. It's proving to be just as much of a pain.
Yeah, just because I'm being lazy.
I don't think you're being lazy, given how much time you've dedicated to doing this. I think you're doing pretty good.
Okay, because I need more.
I mean, I'm not an expert in 3D by any stretch of the imagination, but it certainly looks like you are putting a lot of effort into this.
You don't have to be. That's the thing, when I teach 3D to people, I tell them, just learn what you need and don't even worry about any of the rest.
Yeah, that's kind of what the guy whose name escapes me for the moment, Blender Guru, is his handle on YouTube.
Yeah,
for
and
the donut tutorial.
Andrew Price. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of stuff in here, but honestly, throughout the entirety of your career, even if you do this professionally, you will probably use only these 3 buttons.
Pretty much.
These are the only 3 places you will go. Oh, Real Danny trademark is raiding with a party of 7. We've been raided.
Woo!
Yay!
Thank you.
That's cool.
Thank you.
I don't know who Real Danny is, but he sounds like a cool dude.
I mean, it's not a fake one. I hope.
Yeah, it's not a fake Danny, it's a real Danny. Pseudo Kid said, yeah, my raid pick was the one that won. Oh, cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yay!
Well, welcome everybody that joined us. We're working on some fun stuff today.
Real Danny says, as long as you know I'm the real Danny. Trademark.
Okay, Danny, you have to convince me, I'm gonna need some cash.
You got some receipts? And Arisu-chan says, hello as well.
Hello. I read it again. Okay, fair enough. That I can take that as proof of existence. Yes,
this is true. Well, for all the people
I'd raid, therefore I exist. That's pirates, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's the one who raided it, can't be anybody else, right? It can only be the real Danny.
One will hope.
Yeah, and to all the people who have popped in, who are like, "What is going on?" Henky is making a 3D model of one of my monsters. We are collaborating on it. So I did the 2D design and the character sheets and all that cool stuff, and he's putting her together. And I will go grab a link to an image of her so you can see what it is that she looks like, or will look like when she's done. Which might take just a second. Sometimes I wish you could just like grab an image and drag it.
Yeah,
but no.
That will be convenient.
Yeah. But then again, that would probably mean other people in the chat. No, it is not hentai.
No, it's not. Let me show you.
Yeah, this is a link to the illustration I did of her. Oh yeah, here's the sketch, the 3D sketch of her. I did do a monster design that makes fun of hentai, though.
What is it? A chicken with a tie?
That's that I think I showed you that one. It's Dare Dare. It's the pink tentacle creature in a sailor suit with a paper plate mask on, carrying around a giant cleaver. He's got a little paper plate mask on with a smiley face. I like that one too. She came out great.
Right now, I'm just trying to redo the tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just wanted to try something else.
That's fine. I mean, like you said before, sometimes we have to try all sorts of different things. You like get it done, kind of. And then you stare at it for a minute and you go, I don't know. I don't think I like this. It's one of the curses of being an artist is you'll finish it and everyone will be like, oh, it looks great. And you're like, I don't believe that for a second. I'm going to go make it better by erasing everything I did and starting again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, do you have to? Yes. like the thing I'm working on my own right now, I'm doing the flat colors, and because of the nature of it, it's multiple layers that all have to stay the same. And I keep looking at the line art and going, oh shoot, I should correct that. Oh, that's a little bit off. Let me fix it. And I'm like, yeah, but now you have to fix it for everything else. You have to change that on every layer now. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should just leave it kind of screwed up for now and then fix it later.
Yeah, that's sadness. You know. Okay.
King Greed wants to know what games are you hyped for this year, and he's really hyped about Gotham Knights Collector's Edition.
This year, well, I already had mine, or Horizon Zero Dawn got the sequel, Horizon Forbidden West. I played it and I loved it.
So I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
It's a really good game.
Mm-hmm. I was actually really happy with I play Genshin. I was really happy when Aloy appeared in the game and I got her for free. So that was nice.
But is she a playable character, or it's like?
Yeah, they did a collaboration with Sony because Horizon Forbidden West was coming out. So they made a little anime Aloy for the game Genshin Impact. And the PlayStation people got her for free first, and then the PC people got her for free later. I'm sure she'll come back again for some other kind of promotion. But I did get her. She just appeared for free in my inbox, and I was delighted. But in terms of games that I'm excited for, I'm actually excited for a game called Stray.
Oh, that's with a cat.
Yeah, where you play as like a cat.
Yeah.
Trying to get home in this like post-apocalyptic robot-filled world. And they like the trailer shows that they've put in so much effort for like these little animations the cat does. They paid such good attention to how cats move.
There's another one that it's sort of similar. It's called Little Kitty Big City.
Yeah, I've seen that one too, and I want that one also.
Oh yeah. It looks
That's the one
fun.
where I know it reminds me a bit of oh god, I forgot the name of the game with the narrator, the Stanley Parable. It reminds me of the Stanley Parable, or at least the commercial did, because there was like a little narrator following the cat around, trying to like be like, oh, and the cat will go home, and the cat went somewhere else. Well, the cat will go here first and then go home, and please will you go home?
Eventually.
Yeah. Real Danny says, I'm hyped for Hogwarts Legacy.
I have a friend that is really hyped about that one. He has played only Harry Potter games. Like last Christmas, he was playing on Twitch the old ones for the PS1.
Mm-hmm. I'm not super hyped for that game. I'm not really a Harry Potter fan, but it's nice that so many fans are excited to see it.
You know,
it certainly looks pretty.
You get your fix where you get your fix. That's it. Like I learned a long time ago to not force anyone to like what I like.
Oh yeah, I mean, like sometimes there are things where it's like, well, I don't know that we can support that financially at the moment because it's directly fueling whatever. But that shouldn't stop you from like liking it. And if there's a case where you really like for example, Owl House had a bunch of controversy surrounding it from Disney being weird, and the creator of Owl House said that she didn't, because she felt it was so bad, that she didn't care if you paid for it. And she's like, no, go watch it illegally. Go watch it on another streaming site. Go buy fan related content. Love it all you want. If you feel like you can't give Disney your money because of all of this, then cool. But don't stop. If you love it, don't stop loving it. And that's the way that I view it. Like when all of the people from Five Nights at Freddy's found out that the original creator was like funding some really weird anti-LGBT shit, they were like, well, shit, I guess I can't like this anymore. And it's like, no, you like it all you want. It's just if you feel like you can't give him money, buy a bunch of fan stuff. God knows there's tons of it.
Yeah.
God knows that some of the actual products created by the company that owns the game are not so great. They look terrible. So.
But that's the thing that at least I think that you should separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
Because people, they over time they may change. They may say one thing now, and later they may think something else. It happens to all of us, right? So
yeah, there's it's inevitable that a person, regardless of what you're writing, your opinions and stuff are going to filter into the stuff you write.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that a fan can't enjoy it for what it is, even after they find that out. Like, for example, I'm a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft's work. I like a lot of his stories. However, he was a giant racist asshole, and I will never pretend he wasn't. But thankfully, he is dead, and he will not receive any of my money if I go buy a Cthulhu plushie on the internet. And most amusingly enough, at least to me, is a lot of people who are huge fans of, those monsters in that universe are the very people that he would have been nasty to if he was still alive. So I feel like a kind of satisfaction knowing that.
Yeah.
It's like they walked up to him and they went, not yours anymore, it's mine. Oh, what a nice Cthulhu. It'd be a shame if I took it. And then they did.
So, what games are you hyped about? This goes for the rest of the chat.
Oh, yes. Ignore me talking forever. If you guys have games you're hyped about, please feel free to put them in there. I keep hearing rumors that there's going to be more Silent Hill games.
Yeah, me too. Of course, the rumor goes, yeah, Kojima's gonna make it. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, and I hope that if it is, that it'll be good. I mean, I found Death Stranding to be I was very unenthused by it. I feel like Kojima's games are at their best when there is somebody to be like, you have to stop now. You can't keep adding things to the game. You have to stop. King Greed says that he is most excited about the Gotham Knights game, as he mentioned, and the new TMNT game. Oh, I didn't know there was one of those coming out. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's like a remake with new sprites. Well, they refreshed the art, and they added April as a playable character.
Oh, cool! Like, oh gosh, I think that my favorite TMNT that's come out has actually been the most recent one, the 2D animated, The Rise of the TMNT. I really liked that one. I thought that one was, like, the animation in it is fucking spectacular. It looks amazing. And the writing is pretty good also. It gets a little hurried towards the end, unfortunately, but I think that that's because, like, with a lot of shows, like what happened with Avatar and then later Legend of Korra, the studio goes, oh, we're not renewing it for another season, so you gotta wrap it up now. And they're like, shit, we were hoping for a whole season of this. I guess we can't. And then sometimes you get things like with the first 2 seasons of Legend of Korra, where they say, we're going to cancel it. Oh, never mind, we've renewed it again. No, never mind, we're canceling it. No, we've renewed it again. And you're just sitting there with your head in your hands going, I have started and stopped this story like 3 times, please. I'm going to end up telling the same story over 3 different seasons. Please.
Visste du att solens UV-strålar kan vara skadliga och åldra
I think of
dina
other
ögon
games
förtid?
I'm hyped for.
Vi hjälper dig att hitta solglasögon som skyddar dina ögon bäst. Välkommen till Synoptik.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but then again, I'm not very good when put on the spot about like what specific things are like. If someone's like, "What movies are you looking forward to?" I'll be like, "Oh shit, I don't know." I'll know when I see the trailer, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that one."
That one with the actor that is in that other thing, and
that thing.
with the guy.
Yeah, the one with the guy, and then that where they go to that place and they do the thing. That's basically me when you ask me about like shows and movies and games. I have answers. They just disappear when you ask me. My brain goes, well, I knew until this exact moment when you asked me what it was, and now I don't anymore.
So what's your favorite movie? Movie?
I don't think I've ever seen a movie in my life. Uh-oh. I have a lot of movies.
Oh, okay, that
I don't
fixed.
think I could. Yay!
Yeah, apparently I have some double vertices, so so if I just delete that one, fill that one,
Yeah. Awesome, and there's plenty of room to make them like big and fat.
Oh yes.
Yes.
In fact, let's do it right now.
Yes.
Okay. Hey. Yes.
Ooh.
Okay, that's a bit on the chunker side.
That is very chonk, but in a good way.
I don't know if you get a hack from this thing. Might be dangerous.
Yeah, I think if you got smacked with that, it would probably hurt pretty bad. She wouldn't have to chase you down and pew-pew you with a ray gun. She'd just plop that big old braid tentacle on top of you, and you just wouldn't be able to move anymore. And be like, I win.
You just got tentacled.
You got Among Us.
Oh, there's a new Among Us, a VR version.
Oh, I can't imagine how that will play. That'd probably be amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell they were able to redo the gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds interesting. It sounds a bit like maybe it'll play a bit like the Trouble in Terrorist Town Gmod thing from ages and ages ago.
Could be.
It'll be interesting to see how they make like vents and stuff work.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of instantly teleporting to the new location, you'll have to walk. King Green wants to know what Joker actor is the best one for you. Not any cartoon voice versions, the live action ones. His favorite is the Joaquin Phoenix one.
Jacqueline Phoenix. Okay, that's from a parallel universe.
Gosh, I'm a 90s kid, so my favorite Joker's always going to end up being the cartoon one voiced by Mark Hamill, but let's see. I liked the one from Dark Knight Returns. I thought that was an interesting version of him, and it didn't go as far as some of the like more recent ones that are like, we're gonna make him edgy as possible, but we're not gonna really have any context for it. He's just edgy. And I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, if that's your thing, then go for it. Then the oh god, I forgot his name for just a moment. Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars is like, I'm gonna be the Joker. I forget what other character he wants to play. But he was really excited to like play some other DC character. He really, really wants to.
Well, he played Morbius, right?
Yeah, he did. He was in Morbius. A movie that, as far as I'm aware, no one actually went and saw, because every time I ask somebody if they saw it, they're like, I did not.
Okay, have you guys watched Morbius? Any in the chat?
Yeah, has anybody here seen it, and was it good, or is it as bad as everybody has told me it was?
Or is it just a meme, you know?
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, the movie could have just been meh and best served as a meme. King Greed says no, he has not seen it yet.
Yeah, I don't blame you, you know.
Yeah, the trailer came out and everybody just immediately was like, that's not going to be any good. And it seems that they were correct, but... I mean, I'm sure that there are definitely fans of Morbius. I just can't think of anybody that I know who was like wanting a movie about him, you know? Especially since most people's introduction to him would be the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s. And he was kind of an asshole in that. Nobody liked him. Because the whole reason he becomes a horrible vampire is because he's trying to steal Peter Parker's research. Because he thinks he's made some great discovery and he wants to get the credit so he can get like in some special class. But it turns out that Peter's not actually working on a project. He's trying to figure out why he's mutating into a giant spider. So when Morpheus fucks around with it, it ends up like a vampire bat gets exposed and it bites him, and then he turns into a vampire with little suckers on his hands.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. It's like, seriously,
like,
in the hands?
Yeah, and he had fangs, though. That was the weird part. It's like I guess it's because the cartoon was like, we can't have him bite anybody.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I think they had something going for the movie that they didn't want any blood visible.
But that's so strange. It's a vampire movie. I mean, later they brought Blade into the cartoon. And I think he's in the Morbius movie too. And Blade is a vampire with fangs who bites people.
You know,
and I'm pretty sure when they showed up in the cartoon, they bit people. So
Blade, the movies, which are awesome, by the way.
Yeah, they're really underrated, but they're actually pretty good.
They are some of the first Marvel hero movies.
Yeah, they are. And they ended up, like, the first one's pretty solid, the second one is okay, the third one's kind of silly but good. It's good in a funny way. Because I'm pretty sure there's, like, some plot points in there that, like, seem like they were from a different version of the script. And then somebody did not remove them. So there's characters who show up in the wrong place, and I think there's somebody who shows up again later, even though you know for, like, super sure that they died. But then they're back. And you're like, oh, you dead? I guess not. You're here now, so...
Oh, I thought you died. I got better.
The rumors of my death are great, exaggerated. Even death could not kill me.
Not even death can keep me for long, you know. Just because, you know, death doesn't care about me.
She only cares about Deadpool, and that's only because he won't stay dead.
Well, he smells like the dead already, so I don't know. And Thanos. Okay. I was trying to make a joke there. It went down the wrong hole. Yeah.
Thanos would be very funny.
I have seen some videos about this, that Thanos was in love with death.
Yes, that's his whole entire thing, is that he's in love with death.
And Deadpool was just in between him and death, and death was like, oh, I like this thing, it's funny. I don't like you, you're not funny. Like,
yeah, she doesn't like Thanos, which is the funny thing. Is that he's like, oh, if I kill everybody, you'll like me, right? And she's like, no, I won't. And he goes, excellent, I'll go kill everyone then, and then you'll like me. And she's like, I literally just said no. I don't like you at all. Can you go away?
Yeah, some guys just can't take a hint. You know, it's like
you got friend zoned by death itself, and you still are like, nah, she's just making it up. She likes me. Like, no, she doesn't. But okay.
Oh, I can imagine Thanos in a corner reading mangas. Oh, this is just like one of my mangas. She's playing the Tsundere character.
She's just playing hard to get. And they're like, no, I don't think so. You wanna try that? No? Okay. Gonna kill everybody. I see. Well, surely that will make her like you.
I mean, if that
the
isn't
thing
the
she
plot
told you not to do.
If that isn't the plot of a wacky anime.
Kind of sounds like one. It sounds like the plot of one of those. Like, I like a lot of anime, but there are some that are very like time to fulfill my fantasy, in which I get to be the big cool guy who beats up all the people who made fun of me. But then the character just comes out like a giant asshole, and you're like, man, I don't like this guy much. He doesn't seem very nice.
No, he does not.
Nope.
So, what do you guys think about Thanos anime spin-off?
Anime.
Thanos-chan, you know.
Thanos-chan.
I know you want to draw it now.
No, I kind of do. Thanos can. No. You can't destroy the whole universe. Even if you're really cool, you can't. I live in the universe.
Oh.
You can't destroy it here. Oh my god. Amazing.
Let's say nerves. Nope, it's not doing what I want.
Uh-oh.
Just I forgot the name of this option.
That happens to me too. I'll have looked at a tutorial to figure out how to do a thing and then immediately forget what button I was pressing. And I'll go, uh-oh, what happened? Surely if I slice this here and put this over... Oh, nope, that's not right. Now it's inside out.
Like, how did I get here? You know.
I ask myself that on a daily basis. Hold up.
Let's call it this here. No, that's not the one I want.
Oh gosh, I got another game that I've been playing off and on for the past couple of days called Lemon Cake.
Lemon Cake.
It's a very cutesy, chill, relaxed game in which you, I guess, wander into an abandoned bakery and then bump into the ghost of the previous owner who haunts the place. And she discovers that you're really good at making bread, and she's like, I'll let you basically live here if you run the bakery and someday promise to make a lemon cake for me, because that was my favorite thing when I was alive. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then you just make recipes all day for people. It's one of those time management ones where it's like, okay, you have to bake a cake for this person, but then you got to make sure that all of the the display cases in the window have stuff in them. But you gotta know, you gotta make sure that you keep the chickens and the cows clean, or they won't give you eggs and milk. You gotta make sure you water the trees. You gotta pick fruit from the trees. You gotta make sure the ovens have wood in them, and also make sure things don't burn. King Green says, I only know the parody from the anime Ore Monogatari with Thanos from Moonshine Animations. Oh my god.
Moonshine Animations is great. If you guys haven't seen that channel, just go check it out. They do really good stuff.
Oh, and in case people have not heard of Snapcube, like Henky hadn't,
link it.
You should
link it already. Come on.
Yeah, you should check them out. They've done all of the Sonic real-time dubs, where they boot up a game and do a real-time dub of all of the characters, and it is hysterical. You find one of their best dubs for people.
Beställ på tele2.se eller ring 90
Here we go.
Tele2 obegränsad.
I was actually listening to them read the second part of their paste it. Here we go. Here is a compilation of some of people's favorite jokes from their stuff. But I was listening to them do a cold read, so none of them had seen it before, of an AI generated Sonic movie script, and they've done 2 of them, and they are hilarious.
I saw there. It was a really easy option to do this, and I can't remember. Oh, come on.
Was that it?
Looks like.
Hooray!
Looks like I have to select just more vertices, not just those. Okay. Curve. So it's blind to nerves. Oh.
Last week we got Ugly Sonic back, says King Greed.
Why? I ask why?
I don't know.
You know, I was happier without him in my life.
And a bad guy Peter Pan. I have not seen I've not seen whatever that is. Must have missed whatever trailer that's from. Sorry I keep yawning on air. I don't know why, but I've been super tired these past couple of days.
Are you getting
Which is weird.
sleep?
I've been sleeping in late, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not getting enough of it. Or maybe I'm not getting to bed on time. Who knows?
You know, you should stop doing the things you do in bed so often, you know.
Makes it sound like I'm doing something really bad.
Or maybe it was too good.
But in reality, you mean like stop reading ebooks and watching movies on your phone until 2 in the morning or something.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh my god.
Now you get it.
No.
You know, that's the kind of jokes I like to make. I call them armor piercing. Because you don't get them in the first instance, like later it's like, oh, you...
Like, no, stop. It sounds awful what you said. What are the people watching going to think?
Oh, the writing.
King Greed says, apparently Peter Pan is a bad guy in the new Chip and Dale movie. I didn't even know there was a new Chip and Dale movie.
That's where the ugly Sonic comes from. So and I'm really sad that I know it.
No. Oh. Well, I'm gonna have to look that up later and then feel depressed. We'll see whatever design this horrible thing is and then go, oh, why did you let that be on screen? Why was this creature allowed to take up residence on this screen?
Yeah, apparently Ugly Sonic is... Well, do you want to have any spoilers or wanna go verge into it?
All right, let me see. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers 2022. Let's see this.
Yeah, look for Chip and Dale Ugly Sonic, and you'll find it. It's there.
All right, what is this? Rescue Rangers 2022. Ugly Sonic. There we go. Oh no! Why is he in this? Firstly, why is he? Oh, and he's in here specifically as Ugly Sonic.
Yes.
What is this? Oh no!
Okay, let's set this to nerves.
So this whole thing really smacks of like, we saw that Wreck-It Ralph did real good, so we should do that too, but specifically with, but why with Rescue Rangers?
Apparently the world needed more fur stuff. I strongly disagree, but what do I know?
Why do they keep zooming in on his teeth?
You know, it feels to me like when people get some kind of wound and they show it to you and they keep digging in it. It's like, you know, if I poke it, it hurts. Then why are
Do
you
you want to see how it's festering? You're like, no.
Why are you doing this to
Oh,
me?
he's like a beer gut and he fucking coughs and he's gross.
You know, I thought we were friends.
Oh, I see the Peter Pan villain. And the Coca-Cola polar bear? What is this movie? What did I just watch?
Hell.
What is this movie?
Hell. You just
Apparently.
you just witnessed hell.
I apparently did in fact just witness hell. Oh, and I thought I was the one who made monsters for fun. Apparently, that's... I don't understand the context for this film.
What
What
context?
is its premise?
What context?
What is this? They're like at a comic convention, but it's about like cartoons that nobody, like animated things that nobody liked or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the C-list celebrities that they shouldn't live off their fame, but they are still doing it.
But why is that the premise? I want to know who sat down and pitched this movie. I need to know who sat down and went, so get this. This is
Someone who was in a dark place. I can tell you that.
Yeah. It's somebody who absolutely watched Wreck-It Ralph and went, oh, but we could do that better.
But, you know, Wreck-It Ralph was good.
Oh, yes, Wreck-It Ralph was good. So was Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet. But unfortunately, it also gave rise to things like, oh god, what was that horrible food movie?
Oh, yeah, Sausage Party.
No, not Sausage Party. It was the other one. It's a movie where they were like, but what if brands had a secret world where they lived inside, like, your detergent boxes and shit? Food Fight.
Food Fight.
That's what it was, Food Fight.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, that movie is hideous! That movie had like a nightmare of production.
Sorry, you almost killed me there.
Foot fight. Thank you, King Grease. Oh my god.
Oh no, please, no, don't bring OnlyFans into this. No.
Oh, that reminds me of a video I watched the other day. That's unfortunately too political to bring into here, but they were looking at this guy who does like weird news style shit, and his avatar is like a weird fox deer, but for some reason it keeps having like images of like, it keeps putting its feet on the table, and that was already weird enough that they were incredibly detailed, like way more so than the rest of the model. But then they've got versions of it that are sweaty and some that are stinky. And I'm like, we're watching something really upsetting unfolding on the screen under the guise of like a weird thing, a controversial think piece. But this is no, this is bad. I'm like, oh, this is a fetish artist. This is a fetish thing. That's why people are watching. And the poor guy who was trying to review and discuss the actual content of the video just kept having to stop it and go, what is happening? What is with these feet? And I'm like, oh, you poor summer child, you don't know. But yeah, the food fight movie, just sort of get back to that, what had such a troubled production that it should have been tanked. It really should have. But the problem, because of like how much money it wasted, but how much money it had wasted is in fact the problem. It's that like so much money got dumped into this film. The rights to use so many different brands and their icons was spent. But like the first studio like lost all of their animation. The second studio just never got started on it. Another studio had it mostly done, but then part of the deal fell through, so they wouldn't give them the animation. It was stuff like that. But somehow they scraped together all of the footage that they had and made a movie out of it. And its plot makes no sense. Its animation is really janky. The models are so ugly. Oh my god, they look disgusting. I didn't know you could make a 3D model look greasy on accident, but hey, proved me wrong.
I can do that in 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, but you can do it on purpose. They were not supposed to be greasy, but they looked it.
Okay, take a look at the new tentacle.
Ooh, I like it.
So I made them a bit thinner.
Yeah, towards the bottom and
yeah.
chunky. That's good. I like it. Ooh, it looks so good.
Let's try with another madcap. So I can make a joke and say that, yeah, everything looks normal.
Yay! Some kind of pride.
Yeah, because
For
this
sure.
is a normal madcap.
Mm-hmm.
It looks normal to me.
It's fun.
Now it's
Ooh.
shiny.
Very shiny. Dip the calamari in ketchup.
Let's see.
Hej, Karina från Maria Casino här. Visste du att hos oss hittar över
What this does, it gives a different color to each one. So
Oh yeah, I use that on the model I'm working on, so I don't get pieces lost. Now it looks like some kind of candy, like it's made of marshmallows.
Ooh, you're kinky.
It seems like a cool, like kawaii Japanese snack you might get. Where it's like, oh yeah, it looks like an octopus tentacle, but it's actually made of marshmallows.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone made some kind of candy out of squid, you know.
There probably is. I'm sure that there's like salted dried squid that you could get in like a little packet and eat it. King Greed says, if you think Food Fight has horrible animation, then go watch Where the Dead Go to Die. That is already a great title. Fantastic. I will have to look that up too.
Oh boy.
I don't know why I've decided that I'm going to subject myself to terribly animated stuff, but apparently I have made that decision. Like, well, I watched all that good animation for Love, Death, and Robots. Time to watch something really jank.
Oh, did you watch season 3?
I did.
What'd you think?
I thought it was great. The tiny undead one was really funny. Oh god, so many of them were good. I really liked the Swarm one. That one was really good. Oh gosh, they were all great.
Yeah,
Can't
there's
think
so,
of any.
so many good ones.
Yeah, I liked Within Halls Entombed was really good too.
Oh,
that was a
yeah,
very good
that one
Lovecraftian.
was really cool. I think it feels pretty much like in season 1, I think. The one with the werewolves.
Yeah.
It had that kind of feeling. And I had some friends that were stationed in Afghanistan for a while.
Mhm.
And
I
of course,
really
they have war stories of all types, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I asked them, but you know, PTSD is fun and all, but tell me about the weird stuff. You know, things that shouldn't be there, and times when the white shirt guys showed up. And a couple of them,
God.
they told me that there are some weird animals there.
I've actually heard of stuff like that from I'm like a fan of cryptids and stuff. But I listened to a podcast called Bedtime Stories, where they recount tales of stuff like that, and they actually did one that was like a collection of stuff from like U.S. troops in the Middle East. Apparently, there's claims that they like stumbled upon like a super tall, super strong, primitive human just wandering through a canyon who like they couldn't kill with bullets, and they like completely wrecked their shit or something. No idea. I mean, I don't know if any of that is true. It probably isn't.
Most
because I'm
likely
pretty sure if
not.
any of that shit actually happened, that the government would not let you talk about it. But, it's still neat to listen to.
Or maybe, you know, if it's too crazy, people will just straight up not believe you.
Mm-hmm. I have no doubt that people have found like weird crap while out in the desert.
Oh yeah.
Both in a sense of like, I don't think we've ever seen that thing before, and in a sense of like, well, I'm not from around here and I don't know what that is. Like when people first saw, like when soldiers sent home photos from Afghanistan of the camel spider, and people were like, what is that horrible thing?
Oh yeah,
some kind of alien.
There was a meme. Yeah, this is a soldier that caught a spider, and this is a spider that caught a soldier.
Yeah, except that no, the camel spider, despite its name, does not eat camels. It actually just hangs out in caves, and it doesn't like people because we're big and scary.
Yeah, most animals, if they see a human, they just run in the opposite direction.
Yeah. Even most predators will avoid us because they don't know what the hell's going on with us, and nothing is more dangerous to a predator than a prey that you don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's actually often why oftentimes prey animals are more dangerous than predators, because predators have to be super cautious that they don't pick on the wrong thing. Whereas a prey animal is gonna throw down with you immediately, because if it doesn't, it's scared it's gonna die. So it's gonna throw hands with you or hooves immediately. Like how moose are so aggressive. Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
don't fight a moose.
We have them here, and they fight the buses.
Mm-hmm. And the scary thing is that they usually win.
Yeah.
Don't screw with the moose. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, the moose is a really powerful animal.
They are. They're incredibly strong. They're just like a big solid muscle mass.
They just don't care. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, they don't. They
Because-
just, it's...
For
Okay.
them, they're used to fighting bears in the forest, at least here. So it's
Yeah,
like,
or being really aggressive for like wolf packs and stuff and fighting other moose, so they don't care.
so, like
If you
you don't even have any claws or anything. You're not even a threat to me.
Yeah. The moose is the embodiment of are you ready for the death you've earned, little man? And then it just comes at you and you're like, oh, I've made a mistake. I've made a big mistake. But like, oh god, there's some other animals that are like not it's let's see. The moose is not as bad as the hippo though.
Oh no,
Hippos.
the hippo is a killing machine.
Are horrible. They're so mean for no reason. They will eat you. And they don't even eat meat.
But they make the point,
I guess. So. Oh god.
You see, guys, I just killed that thing, and I don't even need it.
Yeah, I don't even need to, but I'm gonna gulp it down anyway. Just so I have more ammunition for when I machine gun my poop at you later. So you can have a really bad day because you made the mistake of setting foot outside and even remotely near where I am. Why? Because I am a hippo and I am evil.
And this is not even hypothetical. It's true.
Yep. That is the kind of stuff they will just go do because they can. Oh, they're awful.
But they're so cute. When you see them munching people. Oh, look so cute with grandpa in between the teeth.
Cute. Like, if you ever want to feel kind of nervous, go watch one eat a watermelon.
Oh,
You'll sit there
I've
and you'll
been,
go, oh, that was...
I've been close to hippos in real life. So yeah.
Yeah, they mean.
Yeah,
Very
and they
mean.
mean business. Damn.
Yes, they do.
Like there was this zoological animal park in the Canary Islands where I lived, and they had all kinds of animals. And yeah, some of the trainers that worked there with the hippos, they really had to be careful with them, because one of them was a bit pissy and just barked back at the guy, and the guy just jumped back because of the impact of the air.
Oh my god.
He's like, okay, we'll do it your way. Just go eat something.
Alright.
We'll do it later.
Let's not do whatever you're doing.
And the hippo just turned around and went away. It's like, I can't care.
Stupid human.
Stupid meat on legs.
Yeah, and you're just left sitting there like, alright, I don't know what I did, but I made you mad. That's not good.
Isn't a bit that like a marriage? When you made the other person mad and you don't know why?
I guess in a way. I mean, I would say that would be not a great marriage if that's how your spouse is reacting. But yeah,
I mean,
that's the kind of, I mean, if that ever happens in your relationship where you're left there standing going, I have no idea what I did, but I sure made you mad. That might be a sign to leave.
yeah, and that's the thing, that when you have to ask why the other person is mad, that's when you know you fucked up really, really.
You're like, so either I did something really, really bad, or this person is crazy.
Okay, so I repositioned the tentacles a bit more to fit the star. What do you think?
Oh, I like it.
Of course, we can move them later, position them exactly where we want and stuff.
Yeah, I know that the star was going to be kind of tricky. Excuse me. Anyway, because it's like, again, one of those impossible things in 2D that isn't really capable of being reproduced quite so well in 3D.
Well,
So I
that's the thing, that you have to make some artistic choices.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't mind if it's got like a little bit like a clippy kind of thing. Because then to me it just looks like she threads her tentacles through it like a bead, which is fine. Well, Kingreed says, I just say, happy hippo, love this candy.
Happy hippo, love this candy. Okay, that has to be a big candy, you know.
A very big candy.
Like the size of watermelon, you
know. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm gonna throw these tentacles into ZBrush.
Nice.
I'm gonna select them, duplicate them, and they go crazy.
Oh my lord.
Tentacle party.
The sequel to the sequel to Hot Dog Party no one asked for.
Okay, let me hide this. We have this. 1, 2, 3. Convert to mesh. Yes. I'm gonna rename them Tentational. That's a word now.
Hey, I mean, you know, Shakespeare made up words. I don't see why we can't.
Well, I have the excuse. You know, I'm technically classified as a Mexican, so...
That's fair.
It's just because when I was working at... This was back at UPA... When I was working back at UPS years ago. And we had people from everywhere. I didn't speak any Swedish there because everyone spoke English. My bosses were from Manchester, Germany, all over the place, London, yeah, and lots of guys from Africa. You from the Middle East. Yeah, it was like Benetton, but in a bad way.
Oh, I would have not done well in a place like that at all. I only speak English. Somebody would have walked up, said something, and I've just stared and been like, I don't know what you said, I'm so sorry. Can you mime what you want me to do?
Well, that's what we had to do half of the time because the environment was so loud that even if you just screamed to the other person, they could barely hear you.
So it wouldn't matter anyway.
Hand signs, you know, like, you know, grab thing, put thing there. Stuff like that all the time.
I didn't work. I've never worked at UPS, but I did work at FedEx. And oh boy,
same thing.
Yeah, working any mail job is hard. Working any mail job for a private company is a nightmare. Like, holy cow. Let me tell you, working at FedEx sure made me never want to send a package via FedEx ever again.
Oh yeah, I can't believe you.
I'm like, they're gonna smash my package all the shit and then be like, well, that's your fault.
I'm gonna call this the old tenties and new folder oldies. And I'm just gonna keep them for now.
I'm glad that I am not the only person who names files like that. Or subfolders like that.
Well, the thing is, if I just call everything PN3D Sphere 3D1, yeah, that's gonna
you'll never know what any of it is. Yeah.
That's gonna be tough.
But yeah, like for example, the layers I have in the file I have open are, let's see, inks, open, close, inks, open, inks, close, open, inks, close, close. CC-C, which is the color for clothes, which will then be duplicated and placed underneath all the other ones, so I can save it as a PNG and then make a sort of animated avatar. Put it in the corner because I don't want to turn my camera on. Because I'm in a very small room.
That's a perfectly fine reason, you know. You don't have to show your face if you don't feel like doing it.
No siree, Bob.
I know you guys want to see faces, but you know.
Well, my avatar will look like me. It won't be like. Unfortunately, my online persona has always just been a drawing of me, and not anything cool like the people who are like, "Oh, my online persona is like a poofy corgi." So I can make a cute little avatar. Nope, not happening.
Not happening. You're getting the ugly old me.
Too late. Boring human. The only cool thing we can do is make my outfit fun.
Like you have seen my avatar. It's just a self-portrait with a lot of air quotes. You know, like 5 on each side.
76 air quotes.
Yeah. You know, when you go to heaven, you get 72 air quotes.
Those are called wings.
Well, I was making the other joke, you know. You know, the one with the 72 virgins.
Oh, yeah. That's an awful lot of people to disappoint.
Yeah, and there was Jeff Dunham, this ventriloquist guy. I don't know if you know.
I know who he is. Yeah, I know who he is.
He has that puppet, Ahmed, the death terrorist.
Yeah,
and,
the skeleton with the beard.
Yeah, you know, they told me, they promised me 72 virgins when I died. And I don't know how it continued, and they said, but are you sure they were all female?
Are you sure they were all female virgins?
And he's like, holy shit. You know, that's a good question, you know. It's like, do I get to pick them, or how does it work?
How are we determining this?
Because if it's the ones I know, I don't want it.
The other 72 or the other guys that came with. It's only 71 because it's you and the 71 guys you came with. Oh no! I didn't want that. Or whatever.
Well, too late.
Oopsie. Whoopsie daisy, you are dead.
I heard that before. Where is it from?
Oh, I don't know anywhere specific, but that's a smaller version of a joke I make with my friends sometimes, which is, oopsie poopsie, you did a fucky wucky and now you have to go in the forever box. Which can be made worse if we decide to do it in the voice of Toad from Mario. Which we learned that I can do, and then immediately regretted knowing that I could do it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Ow!
You know, I can do Bane.
And it's more coherent than the Bane that was in the movie, too. Thank you, car.
Yes, nobody cared who I was until I was in the movie.
Nobody knew who this was, and they just knew that I was talking inside a tin can.
Well, it's
Nobody
a
could understand a thing.
It's a tuna can, but okay, I appreciate the try, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Nolan films had a real problem with sound balancing, and that was definitely one of the instances of it where you're like, I have no idea what he just said.
Yeah.
What? Uh-huh. No. What? I said I give you permission to die. Oh, okay.
That and Batman just whispering in a very low voice. I bet you can't
What?
hear me. It's like, well, you say, I heard you, but barely. It's like,
I have no idea what you just said, but okay.
okay, I give you $5, but get out.
Yeah, I feel like that was most of that movie. Was going what? God, I got the Dark Knight Returns movie in college, and because everything was on DVDs still at the time, and streaming stuff and electronic whatever was kind of new. The only thing I could watch it on was my TV, and I kept having to turn the volume up and down really abruptly because it would go from like I can't hear these people talking, so I turned it up to, and then the gunfight occurred, and it was really loud, and I'm like, oh, people are studying, I'm gonna get in so much. I'm sorry. So in the end, I just threw my hands in the air and put subtitles on.
So yeah, it
like,
goes. The volume goes from I can't hear shit to boom, there goes the wall.
Yeah, as King Grease said, where are they? Ah!
And someone in the other building, what are you asking about?
Yeah, somebody a building over and a floor up goes, what the hell was that? Just perks up Batman. Especially since the movie starts with a bank robbery, so it's kind of quiet for a while, and then all the gunfire starts, and then a dude throws a grenade, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so loud. Why did you mix this way? You didn't have to.
Yeah. Okay, I have a creative decision question now.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do a pass on the outfit to make it a low poly version. So you want the skirt to be round, like a perfect circle down here?
Yes.
Okay, and the waist, it's gonna be square-ish.
Yeah, a little oblong because she's got her kidney bean shaped body in there.
Okay, dokie.
That's how the bodies of most of my androgynous creatures end up looking, and it's like they're just kind of like a bean for a body, like a slightly warped oval. Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know what kind of blackbird it is that keeps visiting my bird feeder. It's not big enough to be a crow, and it's definitely not big enough to be a raven, but it is a big boy. Almost too big for the feeder, and he'll like latch on for a second and maybe get some seeds, and then he'll be like, oh, this is too precarious, and float away, and he's back. Maybe it's a magpie. Bye. I have to look up pictures of them later and figure out what kind it is. Hi, Dezarin!
Hey, welcome.
We finally tackled and conquered, or rather, Henki I can't talk. Oh my god! Conquered and tackled the tentacle braids. They have been achieved.
Let me show them.
In all their glory. Look at those. Look at these awesome braids. They look fantastic.
Well, the thing is, they suck. They really do.
I like them though. But I also, as an artist, understand when someone goes, oh, that looks awesome, in your head, you're like, it's the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
Well, that's not what I mean. I was talking about the suckers, but okay.
Oh!
You see? Armor piercing.
Ha ha ha. Oh my god.
Sorry, I just can't help it.
It's fine. Finally figured out what shirt I want on this avatar. In that color. I'm just flip-flopping back through colors for the past 20 minutes going, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. And then my brain went, but what if many colors? And I was like, oh, many colors? Yeah.
Pretty. Shiny.
So the shirt is actually 3 colors. It's like, yes, I can do that. In this weird, punky outfit I have designed.
So is it Punky Brewster?
Nah, it's
Or Punky the Brewster?
yeah, closer to the second one. It's it's got a the fishnet shirts from the early 2000s. It's got a faux leather biker vest, which I actually do own. It's got a soft cotton bustier style corset ish thing. And the shirt is oh god, it's a cold shoulder cut, which means that the shoulders are exposed, with distressed edges and 3/4 sleeves, and it is a gradient of purple through this orangey pinky color into a bright, well, not really bright, but a really popping magenta. So I've described this strange outfit I have created. But I mean, people will see it when I start streaming and put the avatar up.
It works for me. I got the description.
Nice.
Because I'm used to have people describe me things by ear. It's like, yeah, that thing. You know, the glowy thing? No, the other one. The not so shiny, the blinky. Yes, that one.
That reminds me of some of the descriptions one of my friends would use for objects when he didn't know what they were. Because much like me, he also would forget the names of things while talking sometimes. So at one point, he was asking for something from one of our friends, and he couldn't remember the word, and so he said, "Can you hand me the clicky scrolly," and it's wireless. And his friend turned, and he's like, "The mouse?" And he's like, "Yes, the mouse." I forgot that word. And then we all just sit there with our heads in hands going, I'm sorry, I forgot basic English. I swear I've spoken it for like 20 years. It happens to me a lot. To the point that I'm like, man, maybe I should ask somebody about that. Is this a problem? It's like, no, it happens to everybody. Just happens to some people more often. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It also lends the fact that I'm terrible with names. That's why I sometimes accidentally out the people who are using different screen names in the chat, because I'm like, I think that that's a person I know. Because that name is similar, but it's not exact. So how can I ask if that's them without asking if it's them? And I'll just be like, is this so-and-so in here? And they'll be like, yes. I'm like, I'm sorry. And they're like, no, it's fine, but you didn't need to do. I'm like, I don't know. I should have just messaged you on Discord and gone, are you the person in this chat named blah right now? Instead of just asking out loud. It just doesn't even cross my mind until I've said it. And then I'm like, wow, I just found.
Don't worry. It can be worse.
It could be worse. Yeah.
When I was in high school, my brother was there because we are just 4 years apart. And he's younger, 4 years younger. Okay, so at that point we look quite the same, to the point that people confuse that all the time. And I got blamed for his shit. Oh,
that's so fun.
Like, I was 18 at that time, and if I was out of the classes because I had a free period or something like that, teachers would come at me, hey, why are you not in class? You should be in class right now. It's like, dude,
like,
I don't have class right now, and second, you're looking for my brother. I had to show them my ID.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, right, okay. And we're like, no, like, for real? I'm not him. And they'd be like, oh shit, I'm sorry.
No, seriously, they asked me once, are you or your brother?
Are you or your brother?
I think I'm me,
They're like, well, that depends. Which one of us is in trouble? Because I'm the one that isn't.
No, but seriously, it got like that because we had long hair. We got the same backpack. Like, it was a gift for us.
Oh God! So you ended up with enough stuff visually in common that it could be like, oh well, at least I'll know them by like, different haircut. Nope, same haircut. Okay, well at least I'll know them by their different backpacks. Same backpack.
No, same backpack, and we had pretty much the same clothes because it was cheaper to just buy the same clothes for.
Yeah, and just let you both have at it because you were basically the same size.
Yeah, exactly. It was cheaper that way.
Yeah. I agree with Dezarin. She says I lucked into just plastering my same username everywhere, or at least close to it. And yeah, same here. That's why I agonized for so long about changing my handle to just CC instead of the much longer handle of Chaos Child that it used to be, because I was like, oh, that just sounds like too angsty teen, early college-y kind of thing. I should change it to something a little better.
Or a serial killer,
King Greed says, do you have a cartoon episode that traumatized you as a child? In my case, it was Courage the Cowardly Dog in Courage in the Big City. I didn't have, well, I definitely had stuff that did traumatize me as a child, but the problem was that it's not stuff for kids. Because my dad liked to rent movies that were definitely not for children, but didn't stop me from coming in the room to watch. So I saw Akira when I was 5, and I shouldn't have, and that's the thing that, like, scared the daylights out of me for a long time. As far as kids programming goes, I was creeped out by this short from Sesame Street for a little while that was, like, making I-beams. Like the kind you use in construction, obviously. Because the music that they used for it was so intense that it made me kind of nervous, and I didn't really know why, because there wasn't anything bad happening on screen. It was just them making a big steel girder. But it felt threatening somehow. God, there was a movie too. I don't remember what it's called, but it was a horror film. Again, not one that you should have been watching. That scared me bad as a little kid for a while.
Yeah, but that's what kids do, come on.
Yeah, and that made me hide under the blankets for a long time. I have watched Digimon Tamers, and I have watched Digimon Adventure 2, and 1. I've also watched oh my god, I've watched most of the 4th series too. And I am watching Digimon Ghost Game. At least when it comes out more. I don't know which episode.
It's so refreshing to hear someone mention Digimon instead of Pokemon.
I watched a bunch of Pokemon when I was little too. But I think Digimon ended up being my favorite because it was more action-packed, but I was actually able to play the Pokemon games and not the Digimon ones. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I never got into Pokemon stuff. Most of my friends did, but I didn't.
Dezarin says, I've watched all 5 English seasons and saw Apmon. And King Greed says, Digimon Gang for life. The new series, Digimon Ghost Game, is actually pretty good, but then it keeps... Yeah, Tamers was messed up for a kid's show. It's probably one of my favorite series so far. But the director who made it is the same director that made Perfect Blue, which is an animated movie about a pop idol who decides she wants to go into acting and then starts getting stalked and kind of starts losing her mind. Fun stuff. And then they went, hey, do you want to direct a Digimon movie? Or not movie, TV show? And he went, hell yeah, I do.
He's like, I'm gonna eat that month? Yeah, I'll do it. And
then, more recently, turned out that guy is a jackass. So that's disappointing. He went and did this like completely bizarre, off the walls, insane live read where he created another digital monster called censorship or something along those lines. It had like the power of censorship and the power to create fake news, and I was like, oh no, not you too. This man's crazy. Oh no.
Let me guess. The monster said there are some bad hombres down there.
Basically. So, oh my god, it was so weird when somebody told me. I was like, no. And they're like, yeah, here's the live read from a convention where he just went out with the actors and made them do it. And I was like, oh god. Oh no. That's weird. Oh, episode 2 is the one that has Cthulhu in it. Yes. The guy from Tamers also did that episode. Yeah, that was the one where Kari got her crest. And she was being stalked by the forces of darkness. Like, literally. It had like an evil lighthouse and she kept seeing it, and then we saw a thing that looked like Cthulhu, and then it never came up again. And everybody was just left going, what the actual hell just happened? What happened? I don't know. Just sitting there in shock going, okay. The TV show that actually did mess me up as a kid was actually the X-Files.
Yeah,
she did get dragged into Innsmouth. Yeah, I should not have been watching the X-Files. And I know what episode it is, too. It's the episode called Fallen Angel. The one where the guy from, oh god, I forget the name of that UFO conspiracy group. But he looked kind of like Garth from Wayne's World.
Yeah, the Lone Rangers or something like that.
Something like that. He wears a hat. With their name on it. But the one where he gets abducted for a second time, and like he's laying in bed and his ears keep bleeding, and he gets like kidnapped while he was trying to sleep. That scared the daylights out of me when I was a kid. And for the longest time, I never felt comfortable sleeping with my ears exposed. I always covered them up with my hair or with my blanket. I couldn't sleep like that, and that was why. I'm like, oh no.
You know, for me, the scariest thing about X-Files was the episodes with the bugs. Like, they had these kind of bugs that made a cocoon and slowly consume people.
Yeah, that was creepy. Oh, King Greed wants to know what our favorite Digimon is. For the longest time, mine was Gatomon, and then when Tamers came out, it was Renamon.
Oh, you know that one with the thingy that goes raw and then why? Yeah, that one. You know.
That one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That was. I think Renamon is probably still my favorite. Her animations for her Digivolutions are so good. Like, they animated them, and they are so pretty. I actually think that the evolution transformations from the animation sequence for the transformations in Tamers are probably my favorites.
No, sadly, for me, people have ruined Digimon in ways that they shouldn't.
Because the internet's the internet, and we all grew up with it, so...
Yeah, but some people look like they didn't grow up.
Whoopsie!
They didn't grow up at all. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I like this thing. This thing, it's my thing for life. And you're gonna pay for it. And if you tell me
not, I'll make it your problem.
Like Biff Tannen says, wrong, it's your problem.
Zarin says that my Otismon is her favorite. He was the cool vampire dude. I remember him. Visually, he's really cool, and then he becomes like this giant, horrible monster at the end before they beat him.
Wasn't that one that could erase things and had a really freaking healing power.
Yeah, something like that.
Like he
He
will
was.
hurt himself and then just regrow anything in an instant.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. He was the one where I believe they had to do the Digimon fusion to beat him.
Because
They
damn,
had
that
to
was
fuse.
edgy as hell.
Yep, they had to fuse Agumon and Gabumon in order to beat him. He's also the one behind every single thing that happened in Digimon Adventure 2. This is also true.
I'm sorry if I'm not paying too much attention
That's okay.
to the chat.
You are working very hard on making this thing look awesome. You are allowed.
Well, I'm looking at polygons. It's
yeah.
It's distracting.
Oh, I understand. That happens when I've looked at my model too, and I'm considerably more lost when it comes to that. So I totally understand being like, okay, shit, where did that little thing go? Where's the vertice? Did I delete that? How is there two? What have I done? Like, I had to remake the ruffle I showed you earlier so many times because I kept screwing it up. And it was too big, and then it was too small, and then I had to, like, lay it down a little bit, and I couldn't get it to do that, and I was like, uh-oh.
Okay, I have a question for you, and for the chat.
Yeah.
Favorite dinosaur? Come on.
Favorite dinosaur? Oh, that's difficult. I love them so much. I love tons of dinosaurs. I've been watching Prehistoric Planet. It's so good, oh my god. The Triceratops has always been one of my favorites for the longest time. So I'll probably stick with that one, but I have so many that I like. Oh gosh, I have to show it to my boyfriend later. He's not as big a fan of documentaries as I am, so I'll have to be like, come here and see this. But there is Prehistoric Planet has like 5 episodes out now, I think. But there's one about forests that has this it's not a T-Rex. God, I'm blanking on the name of this lizard, but it's got this meat-eating dinosaur prepping a display area to try and woo a mate, and he Dezaren says that she was always a low-key Ankylosaurus fan. Ankylosauruses are awesome. They have that big old club on their tail, and they are made of armor. You cannot fuck with them.
Oh, there was a joke in a comic about cavemen discussing a dinosaur, and I forgot the name. The thing is, they're discussing like they have a PowerPoint, and they're talking about the dinosaur. Yeah, this is the dinosaur, blah blah. And this part is called the name thing, named after this guy, because apparently he was killed with that thing.
We named it after Greg because he got killed by the tail.
And the thing is, the scientists actually they didn't have a name for that part. So someone read the comic, and they named the thing after that.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, if someone can find it, it's really funny.
That sounds like almost like a Far Side comic.
It had a Dilbert style comic. I don't know.
Ah. Yeah, I'm not sure which one it is. King Greed likes the Brachiosaurus.
Oh,
gosh, the
long neck boys.
The Prehistoric Planet has so much new information about those, including brachiosaurs and other long-necked animals. There's one called a titanosaur.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
And due to studies that they did of its bone structure and density, they discovered it had big air sacs inside its neck to keep it buoyant. Oh, sorry, not buoyant. To keep it lightweight but still supportive. And then they realized that it could inflate those sacs and make these little bubbles on its neck, and they're like that was clearly to like find a mate. So there's footage of it just going thunk, 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 and sticking out these little friggin' bubbles to attract a mate just up this massive neck.
Like a frog.
Yeah, like a frog. And some of those guys were so huge. I'd have to double check if this is still the prevailing thing. He looks like the queen from One Piece. That would be awesome. I don't know what that looks like, but that could be. There was oh my gosh, I still can't remember the name of that creature, but it was a meat-eating one. It's a bit like a T-Rex, but it had like eye plates, and it had 3 fingers instead of 2 on its little hands. But I have to show this to my boyfriend later. But it
was like the Carnotaurus.
Yes, that's what it was. Thank you. And it's cleared out this big patch in the forest where it's like pulling up weeds and sticks and throwing it out, so it's got a big area. And then it sits there and it does its big old sub bass dubstep rumble to attract a female. Yeah, basically. I mean, that's what they sounded like too. You'd probably feel a T-Rex before you saw it, because they do these sub-vocal, subsonic rumbles like a gator. So there's the sound design in that is so good. They looked into like the noises they make. It's so great. But it's sitting there, and it's attracted a female, and it's doing, it's wobbling its neck and being like, oh, see how tall and strong I am, and it's like now he must do something spectacular to woo her, and it just flings its tiny little arms out, and the undersides are all blue, and it just goes going woo and waving them back and forth, and I just burst out laughing. And I'm like, what is this? And it's like, it has 2 little arms that are basically useless, but they have a ball and socket joint, which means they can be moved around in any direction. And I was like, that's how they figured out that must be what it was for, because it couldn't pick anything up with it, but it was still clearly using them, so it must have been wiggling them around to do display. Oh my god, I laughed so hard. When he's like, oh, he's going to do something spectacular, I thought it was going to jump, I'm like, oh, clearly it's going to jump, which is why it's made this big area. Nope, it's going to do like a bird of paradise hoppy dance while waving its tiny nubby arms with its little fingers, its fat baby hands that it can't use for anything, back and forth like, hi, hey. He gets rejected by the female, and I was like, oh, well.
You're like, jazz.
He's like, jazz hands, and he's like, no.
God damn it.
It's like, shit. And so he just goes back to cleaning the area, and he's like, maybe if it is cleaner. Gosh, it's so good. Like, it's astonishing, all the stuff that they've discovered.
This dinosaur movies, there was Walking with Dinosaurs, or I think it was that one.
Oh, Walking with Dinosaurs? Yeah, that one was super good too.
It surprised me that Carl Urban was there. Carl Urban is one of my favorite actors. He plays Butcher in The Boys.
Oh,
he was
that's cool.
He was Judge Dredd in Dredd 2012.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that movie. That movie's actually not too bad. It's not as goofy as the original Judge Dredd movie, but it's still pretty good. Dezarin says, all you're doing now is reminding me of a movie I should not have watched when I was younger called Carnosaurus. Oh no, I'm guessing it's a horror movie. Like a dinosaur gets unleashed from somewhere and like eats people, I'm guessing. Something like that. That's unfortunate. Ooh, excuse me.
Not for the dinosaur, but free food.
Can't remember how old I was, but a movie where a scientist is essentially causing people to birth violent carnivorous dinosaurs was not the best thing for a young me, lol, is what Zarin said. Yeah, that would probably be not good for kids.
I mean, it's
probably not good for most people.
If you think about it, it's quite Christian, right? It's like,
actually, yeah, kind of.
If you do things outside marriage, this will happen to you.
You will birth a horrible dinosaur monster. This is what happens when you have premarital sex. Then, of course, there's going to be some kid in the back of the room going, is that true? Will that actually happen? Because if so, I'm going to do that immediately. I want to give birth to a cool dinosaur monster. No, that wasn't what you were supposed to take away from this.
But dinosaur, free dinosaur, you know?
But yeah, free dinosaur. Come on. I get to explore my pros and cons, and I get a free dinosaur. Oh, Desert has to go back to work. Alrighty, you have a good day. I hope that work is not too bad. Oh my gosh. But yeah, if you like documentaries and you have Apple TV.
I don't, but I can...
Or you look somewhere else for...
I can look around.
It is definitely worth watching, I think. I think it's really good.
And that's the sad thing, that there's so many streaming services right now that...
I can't afford to get all of them. It's like, oh my god, it's like cable all over again. Ugh. Should have just stuck with Netflix, but everybody was greedy, so...
Oh, Netflix, if they really do have commercials in the future, I'll just drop it.
Oh my god, if I'm paying for it and it's got commercials, I'm done.
Yeah, because...
I mean, I've got ad blocker, but...
But the reason why I got Netflix it was because it didn't have commercials.
Yeah, it's not like how Hulu you used to be able to, or actually maybe you still can, like, watch it for free. Or like Crunchyroll where you can watch it for free.
I want the content. I don't want the ads.
Yeah, well, that's the reason that people moved to streaming, is people didn't want to pay a ton for cable, and they didn't want to watch commercials. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Thank you.
It sounded almost like one of those suppressors. Pew! Pew!
Pew!
We sample it and sell it. Damn, we can make money.
Can feel Michael in the distance calculating whether or not he could do that. He's a sound designer. I bet you he could. And like 2 seconds, he'd be like, sneeze. I've turned that into a gunshot sound.
Oh,
he will now sell it.
I've seen sound designers do great things with almost nothing.
Yeah. Oh, one of the things that made Mike choose to go to the college he went to was looking at previous projects, and one of the sound design projects was turning a crow's caw into a gunshot.
Damn.
And he was like, all right, this is a good place to go.
Okay,
what
is it with you Americans and all that gun stuff? Come on, you turn an animal into a gun.
Yeah. I'm not going to pretend we don't have a problem. We absolutely do, especially after the most recent horrible things.
Oh yeah, it's
oh my
just
god,
terrible.
I'm not going to get too much into it, but I will say that the proposed solution people have offered is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and like not even anything we could do. It's not legal. Which was their solution to this horrible crisis is, but what if schools only had one way in and out?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's what they proposed. They're like, well, what if the school only had one door? And I was like, you can't do that, though. No. That's literally a violation. No, it's you can't. Your building would not be approved by it would not be up to code if you did that. You have to have, even on houses, you must have 2 ways to get in and out in case there's a fire. Your building is condemned if you don't.
Yeah, even in the buildings, I know that in the American regulation, you need to have fake walls that can be taken down or just go through them in case of a fire.
Yeah, there need to be like the structure needs to be a certain way, so if they do have to rip a wall down to get in there, it's not going to collapse. It's structured so that it will collapse in a certain way, at least most of the time. I mean, all the time it's not going to happen. Obviously, it's a fire, but it's like with the pockets that they put on cars.
Yeah, it's the programmable deformation areas. It's called.
Yeah. So that when it is crashed into, it doesn't always happen, but it is very likely that it will break or
because
crumple in a certain way so you don't die.
it will absorb a lot of the energy and turn
Yeah.
it into just heat and broken plastic.
Yep. Crumple zones save your life. So as soon as I heard that that's what people were proposing, I threw my hands in the air and I went, you literally cannot do that. You literally cannot do that. It is impossible. The fire department won't let you.
Come on, it's just...
They're like, but what if we did anyway? And like, then your school will be shut down.
You know, it's like, oh, what if we shoot ourselves with smaller bullets so we grow immunity?
There would probably, you know what? You joke, but I bet you there is somebody somewhere who thinks that works, and that is the sad thing.
Yeah.
Like, again, don't want to get too political, but I guess I'll have to anyway. Unpopular opinion from most people in the U.S., but I think we need to get rid of them. At this point, we need to get rid of the guns. We have proven time and time again that we cannot be trusted to have them. I think that at this point they should just be illegal. That's not going to happen because, you know, the NRA and other gun manufacturers and shit have pumped so much money into our government, it's never going to happen. But, you know, well, I think they should be.
They could do it like they do it in Spain. Like, guns are illegal for people to have. Mm-hmm. But Spain, it's, I think, was the second or third weapons manufacturer of all Europe.
Huh.
But that's the thing. You never hear anything about it.
Nope. I've never heard anything about that.
It's an industry that moves millions and millions every single year. And nobody says a thing.
I know that, I forget where it is, but I know there are countries where having a gun is legal, but owning ammunition is illegal. If you want to shoot, you have to go down to a range and basically rent the ammo. And if you don't bring back the exact number of casings you rented, you don't get to leave until they find that missing bullet because you cannot take it with you.
And then you have countries like it was Switzerland. That population is small. Let's begin with that. Population is quite small. So when you go to the army, you get to keep the rifle.
But because the population's little, if something happens, they will know exactly who it was.
And not only that, is because every person that has a rifle, they have been trained on how to use it on safety first.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they would not be allowed to even touch it.
Yeah, and that's a thing, like... fuck it, we're gonna flip him around. The thing of it is, the issue is here, is that the places that sell firearms want it to be as easy as possible for people to get them.
Yeah.
So they actually have lobbied Congress enough so that you're not actually allowed to do studies on deaths caused by firearms. You can't. You will not be funded. And you are not allowed to release them. I don't know if it's straight up illegal, I just know that you can't. They won't allow you to. Even though you could very quickly see that, you know, there is an absolute correlation between having a firearm in your house and being shot, and, you know, mental illness and owning a gun and things like that. So anytime somebody says, like, oh, well, surely there are regulations to who can have one, it's like, there's actually really not. And in plenty of places, they just ignore it. Like, you'd think that you'd have to do a gun safety course before being allowed to own a gun. No, you don't. As a matter of fact, it's the most we really seem to have is that there is a 2-week waiting period on some firearms. And to the best of my knowledge, that's not even like 2 weeks of some kind of course or even a background check.
No, it's just
you have to wait.
Just sit on your ass and think.
Yeah, that was their solution. They're like, oh, well, if they're buying it for a spur of the moment dangerous thing, surely they will have decided in 2 weeks not to do it.
Yeah, if people are gonna do that, they are just gonna go to a guy that will sell it under the counter and just get it even before.
Yeah, I mean, hell, you can go into Walmart today. I could drive over to Walmart right now and walk out with a gun and ammo.
Yeah, that
and nobody would check anything.
When I was there in the US, this was in the year 2000. It I went to Walmart with my uncle and my aunt there because, of course, you have to go shopping to buy food and stuff. And
Mhm.
honestly, I had only seen guns. I was 15 at the time. I
Mhm.
only saw guns like hunting rifles and shotguns for hunting clay pigeons and stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
But the amount of guns that were available for people, and not just hunting guns, like they had assault rifles.
Yep.
It's
Buy
like
that too.
I saw a guy just handling an assault rifle in front of the cashier, and he was just doing the dance with the hands and blah 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 stuff, like
Mhm.
full army crazy mode. Check
Yeah.
the gun real fast and stuff. It's like,
Yeah. And that's not a good sign. Like, honestly, to me, that isn't a good sign. Somebody just, is like, I want to like pick this up and pretend I'm shooting a bunch of shit, and I'm like, that's not a good sign. That's a red flag.
yeah. I mean,
That's a very red flag to me.
I have to say that was my personal impression. I was just a kid that I had never seen guns like that before, and I lived in the middle of nowhere in Europe. Okay, I was impressionable, and that made a big impression of the subject in me. So
Where you
yeah,
were like, that's not good.
but still in my head something tells me, yeah, that's not good.
I agree. But so basically, anytime anybody's like, "Oh, you can't take it away. That's not fair," and I'm like, well, then we have to regulate it then. And they're like, "I have no problem with that." And I'm like, "Okay, so you'd have to take a test and then wait and have like a psych evaluation and shit." And they'd be like, "Oh, you can't do that." Like, why not? I mean, you have to take a test and take classes and stuff. Well, maybe not classes, but you should take classes. To get a license to drive a car,
Exactly.
because if you do it wrong, you could kill somebody. Why not a gun? A gun is inherently designed to kill somebody. It is the least safe thing you could possibly own. Ah. So.
Sometimes it just scares me how much influence the companies can have on stuff. Because
it's kind of horrifying.
At the end of the day, all this comes to money. Someone's making money.
Yeah, somebody's making money. Yeah. And they're paying people, the people who create laws are getting money from them in exchange for not doing anything to change how stuff works.
Or doing things that profit them, or things that
exactly.
make things easier for them to sell.
Yep. Which to me says that your representative has decided that getting money from these people is more important to them than whether or not you live or your children live. Yeah. And that's terrifying.
Well, that happens also with not just guns, with the mining companies, for example, or chemical companies.
Yeah, like keeping things deregulated or privatizing stuff like prisons and stuff like that. It's profitable for someone, and thus
somehow someone will find a way to make it profit from it.
Yep. And as long as it's making money, then the people who are getting cash from them to not change anything will not change anything.
Why change it if they're making a good life from stuff like that?
So what if the people in the mine die of like coal in their lungs? They're the ones who decide to be a miner. Not my fault. Clearly. There's nothing we could possibly have done to make it safer.
And the worst part is that I grew up in a very retrograde part of the country in the south of Spain. So we had there still lots of traces of feudalism. Like one person will own a lot of land and the rest will just work or serve him. Because normally it was a dude. Because males rule and females they just pop kids.
apparently.
That's the Christian canon.
King Greed said real quick, American Dad has told us that guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's actually not as much of a joke as you would think, Greed, because that's actually a slogan that the NRA has, is that guns don't kill people, people kill people. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, but
with what?
What are they using the gun for then? Yeah, with what? Why did they get the guns then, guys? To kill the people they shot with it. Morons. Anyway, I know the gun isn't sentient. Stupid. Anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, don't worry. And yeah, I was saying that we have that feudalism that people feel like they owe their lives to the landlord because it's the lord of the land. So it's not like a landlord that rents you anything. No. It's someone. It's the lord, like it's the duke or some kind of noble. Because in Spain we still have those, but these people got super duper rich exploiting others. And the thing is, there was this kind of owner of working for people like that, or if they had like a huge land, people will be proud. Oh yeah, I live there, I work there, my family lives there, my family works there, and we live and die for him. And
he has not done anything for us ever.
Oh, anything but take.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they did the same with the miners. For really long times, the mines belonged to royalty, basically. And later, of course, there were revolts, and the mines were given to the miners because, this belongs to the one that works it, stuff like that. But still, people had that mindset, yeah, we have to die doing this because this is what we do. It's like, no, you don't have to die.
Yeah, it's like but you don't have to though. But that is how we have always. And like, you don't have to.
And then they get that pride of, yeah, I have been doing this really hard job that no one else can do but me. And that's not
nobody else has to, or no one else wants to, because it's incredibly dangerous.
That's not a thing that you should be proud of. But I was wrong there. People said, no, you're wrong, you should be proud of your job because it's your job and that's who you are. It's like, no, a job doesn't define me.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
And
I mean, it's nice to it's nice to have a job, it's nice to have money from a job, it's nice to have a job you like, but you should not be defined by it.
And the best answer I got, they told me, yeah, well, if you think like that, you are nothing. It's like, what do you mean I'm nothing?
show how you came to this conclusion. Where is your work? What is your process? How
so you're telling me if I don't have a job, if I don't belong to a certain thing, I'm nothing. I don't have any meaning.
Sure makes me want to stick around.
And it is like that. If you get a job, it's because someone talk in your favor with the owner, and then you owe your life to the owner.
Oh,
and the guy
that's
that
one
got
of
you the job.
Those kinds of jobs where you can only get it when someone recommends it to you.
Yeah. It's like I had a job in a place that sold through the wholesale, like they sold to supermarkets and stuff, that kind of level. It was
the farm you mentioned.
Well, no, this was in the main city.
Oh, okay.
No, this is a place that really sells by the train.
Oh, okay.
Like huge sales. Like they had trailers going in and out 24 hours a day. It was huge place.
Yeah, okay. So it's, all right, I understand.
So yeah, and I had a job that was, it was hard, and I had an injury and I had to leave that job.
Ooh.
And the thing is, the person that got me that job never forgave me for abandoning that job. It's like, oh, you abandoned it, you're shit.
What do you mean abandon it? You got hurt, you couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, that was the thing. But They said, no,
Oh, but now you're a quitter.
you should have kept working, even if your back was broken. Like, says who? It's that's the honorable thing to do. Otherwise, you will never have a job. Like, aren't there any other jobs available? You mean that this is the only job I can do in my entire life? I got really mad that day.
Yeah, I would have too. I actually had a somewhat similar argument with my mother about something when we both were working at the same law firm that I thankfully no longer work at. She there was a woman that had been hired to be a paralegal, and she was actually supposed to start that Friday. But she called that morning and told them that she could not do the job, that she'd actually gotten a call from a much better company early that morning, and they had offered her a job, and she had accepted. And so, sorry, she wasn't going to be able to do it. And while I was in agreement that, randomly telling them that is probably not great, where I disagreed with my mother and I guess our bosses was that she shouldn't have accepted this better job. And I looked at my mom and I went, why? She's like, well, she made an obligation. And I'm like, what obligation? She didn't actually start working for us. I mean, I'm like, yeah, it sucks that she couldn't, that at the last possible second, she declined to do the job. But what do you mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, she made a commitment to do this thing, and she should have done it. And I'm like, okay, so imagine that, imagine that it were me, that I had agreed, like, okay, I'll start this job tomorrow, but, at the last moment, I get a call from, I don't know, from Marvel. And Marvel is like, hey, we just got through checking all of these portfolios and applications and stuff, and we want to offer you a job as an artist. I'm like, should I tell them no? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, why? She's like, because you already agreed to work at this other job. I'm like, even if that job is a really difficult one with really bad pay that I'm going to hate? And she's like, yes, because you made an obligation. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man, this is where we differ, because I would not. I owe that. I owe this employer nothing. I haven't even started working for them yet. I'm like, if you get a better job offer, quit the job and go take the better one. Like, I'm like, what? I should wait? She's like, you tell them that you have another obligation and that you can start working in 6 months. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and you know what they would do? They would laugh at me and go, and they'd hire somebody else. Is 100% what would happen.
Yeah.
And I'd never get that job. I'd have missed my chance. So.
No, that's the thing, that you have to take the opportunities in life. You cannot just hold back.
Yeah, if you get the opportunity to go do a thing you really want to do, go do it. Like, if you're already working somewhere, quit. They owe you nothing. Even if it's hard to get another job, there are other jobs out there.
Yeah.
The one that you have now that's crappy and not paying you like anything is not the only one there is.
And I know that some people feel like there's no option for them.
Mm-hmm.
I have met people that they're trapped in jobs for life because they say, yeah, this is the only thing I have.
Yeah, I get that too, but it's like,
I find it really sad.
Yeah. I get that it's difficult. I mean, hell, job hunting over here is a nightmare. With the demands that people make for an entry level, like, there's no entry level job anymore. Even though they call it entry level, they're like, yeah, it's entry level, but I want you to have 3 years of experience. I'm like, okay, 3 years of experience? What? How? What are you talking about? So I get that it's not easy, but there are 100% things you could do, even if they're small steps to improving. Like, if you've got a job you hate, start looking for a better job while you do that one so that you have income. And as soon as you get hired for a better job, quit. I mean, people may grumble and complain when you just walk out, where I am, but uh, your employer is allowed to just fire you out of the blue and tell you to leave. You're allowed to just walk out the door even if you haven't given a 2-week notice. I mean, it's polite to give a 2-week notice, but you don't have to. There's no law saying that. So, why not? If you don't like it, you find a better job, quit. Maybe don't flip your boss off on the way out the door or set the building on fire. That probably won't end well if you did, but, just be like, just letting you know, I just got a job offer from a really great place. It's a fantastic opportunity. They want me to work tomorrow. I'm out. They'll be like, well, you got to give us 2 weeks notice. And I'm like, unless it says that in my contract, which it did not, I do not. See you.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of contracts, I have seen some sneaky contracts. Like,
oh, there's some very sneaky contracts.
Like there was this place where I worked.
Always read your contract.
I didn't work exactly at that place because I was in a company that was parallel. But still, I made conversation with the guys that work there, and you talk. And these guys, they barely had an education. They didn't even finish the basic school. So, dead end jobs. That's what I got most of the time. So one of these guys comes to me because I know a lot more things than them, and they saw it, but not in a bad way. Like, they asked me things, and how you do this, how you do that, and I explained it because that I like to do that. I like to share knowledge. If I teach them, that will make things easier for them.
Yeah.
And you make a relationship with them, and you care about them. Like, turn that thing so it's not so heavy, so it will help you, things like that. And one of these guys comes to me and he shows me his contract. He's like, can you check this for me if there's anything weird here? Like, sure. It's in your right to read the contract before
and understand what it says.
And he already had signed it because the boss gave him like 2 minutes to read it.
They're like, sign it now.
Yeah. And of course, it was the basic contract with the minimum salary, minimum coverage, but the basics were there. So, okay, that's fine. But then there was this additional sheet of paper that they had to sign that basically said, in the moment that they got fired, it will be like they quit on their own. Because in Spain, if you quit, you don't have the right to get paid in the unemployment check. If you're fired, they have to give you the compensations and stuff and blah blah blah, right? But if you quit on your own, you don't have any right to any of it. So what this extra sheet of paper was is like, at least in the document you agree that you quit, that you are not going to look for any compensation for leaving your job or anything like that. And like, basically they had no rights if they got fired.
It's like, even if we fire you, it's going to be written down that you quit.
Yes.
Oh, that's awful.
And the thing with a contract, and you know this better than me, I'm sure, is that it can be as illegal as you want, but if you agree to it, you're bound to it.
Yeah, there's a few exceptions to that sort of thing, like if it was under duress, and stuff like that, if you can prove that. But for the most part, even if the thing that's in the contract isn't something they should legally be allowed to do to you,
but
if you've agreed to it, there's not much you can do.
Here comes the best part. The guys that did this thing to them, they told them, you signed this first and then the contract. Like, they didn't give them the contract to sign the papers physically until they had signed that waiver.
Oh, that's not good at all.
But that's the thing, that
That's a
they
bad
were
sign.
forced. There were no witnesses, no nothing.
Yeah,
So
that would be grounds, at least here, you'd have a case. I don't know if it would go anywhere, but, that sort of behavior, you could definitely go to court against them. I mean, they're going to hire a vicious lawyer to go at it with you also, but
but
that
that's
kind of
that's
behavior
the
would
best part, that
definitely be something to sue over.
doesn't matter what you did there.
Yeah. So, tip for everybody watching: read your contract.
Yeah, and this comes from a person that has worked on legal stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Also,
true advice.
something you can do, if you don't like something that's on a contract, you can cross out or amend parts of the contract before you sign it, and then sign it, and then the company has to either accept or reject what you've written.
Yeah.
So if you see something that's like wrong and unfair on your contract, but you still want the job, you can cross out that part that's bullshit and sign your name, and then it's up to them to reject you. And then you could take that up as a grievance with, say, wow, I forgot the name of the thing that protects people for their employment. I think it's the workers. It's not the workers union. I forget what it's called. But anyway, you could take that up with the people, with the branch that deals with employment. You could be like, they rejected, my thing, and I have this copy of the contract that I changed because this part's not good. And they would look it over, and they could decide if you had been, if you'd been falsely, the people who'd figure out if you've been falsely terminated. So, I mean, they can't get you your job back if you're wrongfully terminated, but they can get you compensation for it. And it's usually pretty hefty, depending on what it is. Like, if you have a very strong conviction that somebody has, fired you because, I don't know, because you're gay, you could take that up with the employment bureau and be like, I've been terminated because of this, and they would investigate, and then they would sue the company.
Oh, then I'm gonna tell you something that maybe would make you furious.
If it's tangentially in any way related to what I just said, probably.
And as a woman, especially.
Oh boy!
Because in Spain, recently they passed a new law that turns the menstruational pains, like your period, the pain, the cramps that you get. Now it counts as sickness. And in Spain, you have universal healthcare. So that means that people are gonna be calling in sick because they have the period pains. What does that do towards women? That makes women not desire to be hired. Because they say, oh no, this person is just gonna call in sick every month, or 1 week or 2 at least.
Here's just real quick fun info biology lesson for people. Women are not supposed to get serious cramps once you have finished puberty. So if you are female or in possession of a uterus and period, or somebody who is, and they still get really bad cramps, the kind that you would need to call in sick for, that is not supposed to happen, and you should see a doctor, because that could be a bunch of other shit. It could be anything from as serious as like a tumor to something like Crohn's disease,
Cyst. It's
Assist.
a lot of times it's a cyst, which is painful and it's treatable, but it's
Oh yeah, it's treatable, but it hurts
yeah,
like hell. So you should talk to some. Basically, you're not supposed to be in pain.
yeah.
Uh, so that especially ticks me off because if a woman is saying like, I can't come in for a
Well,
for this medical
it's
condition
not
because cramp,
that. It's because
serious.
the possibility the companies will not risk it and said, "Oh, you're."
Oh, they won't risk you calling out for any reason that's cramp related, serious or not.
So it's like, "Oh yeah, you have grounds to call in sick every month." Yeah, I'm not hiring you because I'm paying a lot of taxes for you to be out. So
Yeah, it's like, well, you don't even know that I would do that.
and that
First of all, you don't know I would do that. Secondly, I am legally allowed to, even if I did.
and
So,
that's the worst part. There will be people that will, of course, exploit the system. There's
mhm.
always people that do that. But there's gonna be a lot of other people that are just gonna suffer because of it.
Yeah, that they're just going to have a really hard and awful time. Uh, like people who genuinely get ill and have to be out are going to have a hard time finding a job, and people who don't have to be out regularly are going to have a hard time finding a job
Yeah.
because of these people being assholes. And it's awful because it sounds like they're trying to turn this into this was a bad ruling on the part of the medical group and it's their fault that I'm not hiring you. It's like, no, that should be considered a medical condition because, like I said, it's not supposed to be painful. So if it is, you should be out from work and seeing somebody.
Yeah, that
Not this.
that you can do already. You know, if you have things like that, you have to go to the doctor and get checked.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you feel something wrong with your body, just check it. There's nothing wrong with doing that, and people do that. And that's the thing that having grounds to be out of the job, that's what companies really hate in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And makes people really, really hard to be hired. Like for a while, there was a lot of women that couldn't get any job because, of course, if they approve a new law for the parental leaving and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. What if you get pregnant? Then I have to pay for you to be out. Yeah. Oh my god.
So, what the government did to cover the asses was yeah, we're gonna give you grounds to fire them if you, for example, don't notify that you're pregnant. That's enough for a company to fire you.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's
That's not good.
like first, that's none of their business if you're pregnant or not.
Yep. I mean, I could see it being a good gesture to be like, hey, I have to be out now.
You know,
because I'm gonna have a baby. But it's not any of their business whether or not you're pregnant.
you know, that's the thing. If you are pregnant, then you talk to the boss. Hey, let's work this out. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least to me, that's the sane thing to do. You know,
Oh, it was so awful at my previous job. Is one of the after COVID began, one of the paralegals found out she was pregnant, and it was a very difficult pregnancy. And she kept saying like, with COVID, I'm really nervous. I don't want to come into the office. And the guys were like, well, can't you? And she's like, no, I can't. If if I come in at all, I could get sick. I shouldn't risk me and the baby. And they're like, well, what if you came in 2 days? And she's like, I can't come in at all. And they're like, you should be really grateful to us that you have a job at all.
Yeah, that's
so we really need you to come in.
That's the thing I hate to hear is like, yeah, you should be grateful. Like, no, it's a job. If you don't have me here, just find someone else. Fire me if I'm so problematic.
Yeah, that's when she decided she was going to find another job, and she did, and I'm very glad that she did. But she ended up having to stick around there for a while before she could. So,
and I bet it wasn't easy for her that time.
No, it was not. It was also like everybody there would be very wary about going, just going up to her and stuff. So we all tried to help out by keeping our distance and making sure we didn't get sick. Everybody got tested all the time. And here is the piece de resistance that you will probably hear and go, wow. So you know how the bosses really needed her to be in the office? And their excuse was, because we need to be able to come and see you. You want to know what they did most of the time?
I don't know.
They went to Disney. They went to Disneyland. Yeah, one of them is a Disney adult. So he and his wife just started going to Disney. And when I say Disney adult, I mean that they left their children with the grandparents. Their children did not get to go to Disneyland. As a matter of fact, when the guy who was the Disney adult convinced the other attorney to go with him, and that attorney brought his son with him, that really pissed off the other guy. And he spent most of their trip sulking. And we know this because the wife kept putting everything on Instagram, and my coworker, the one who got pregnant, stalks their Instagram like mad because she wants to, make sure that nothing's gonna get fucking sprung on her. Because this wife kept posting fucking everything on fucking Instagram. So she'd come up to me periodically. She'd be like, "Guess what they're fucking doing right now?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "They're hanging out at a Disney park, having fucking like margaritas and shit in the shade." And I'm like, "During COVID?" And she's like, "Yeah, during COVID." And it's like, okay, all right, fucking God. And then they have like the nerve to get mad at us about like literally anything.
There's like I don't get how some people can do that and get away with it. Like they're spending huge amounts of money.
Oh yeah, it's their money. And it was their money, but that's because they got most of the money from all the cases. They were the only two people who owned the company, and they paid us what they said they would. It's just they didn't pay us nearly as much as we should have been paid. I only got $14 an hour working there. And they told me that was just
McDonald's, right?
Yeah. And they told me that was just a test rate. Because the original job offer was $15 to $20. King Greed just discovered the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Yeah, I saw that yesterday too.
Yeah,
I thought it was fake. I thought it was fake, and I was like, oh, the parents have more fun in Disneyland than the children.
Yeah. That's the thing that I never got.
It's also kind of creepy.
Disneyland, okay, but it sounds. I always saw that. Yeah, that's I don't know, a theme park for kids. But no, apparently there's a culture of people that go there like really often.
Yeah, and it would be like weird, but not like in a disturbing kind of way, to just be like, oh yeah, I'm an adult, I'm a real big fan of Disney, so we go to Disney all the time. Be like, okay, I mean, that's a little strange, but that's fine. But when it's like, oh, I don't take my children with me, they don't go to the park. And I'm like, what do you mean your kids don't go with you? Why aren't they allowed to go with you? The theme park's literally for children.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What did your kids did to you?
Yeah. But I mean, it definitely didn't help that this attorney fucking hated his kids. He did not want to have them. He had them because it was a good marketing strategy to have children. Because then he could have pictures of them in the room, and people would feel more comfortable having him take their case because he's got kids.
Seriously?
Yeah. I'm not even kidding.
It's a PR move.
Yeah, the PR move. And when I heard that, I looked at my coworker, the one who left, because she knew everything. She told me so many dirty secrets about that place that had me sitting there at the end of the day going like, I don't know if we're entirely legal, functioning legally. Half the shit she told me. that won't get into. It's too long. But like, she's the one who told me that, and when I did, I'm like, I looked at her and I said, seems to me it would have been a hell of a lot cheaper to just get some stock photos of a kid that like sort of looks like you and print it out and put it in your room. Or like if one of your siblings had like a kid, ask to take a photo with them and then just put that in your office.
You know, that's a thing I did when I was working selling pictures to the tourists. And I started doing this just for fun.
Oh, you put like with yourself?
There was this one time that I was trying to sell the pictures to a bunch of kids. They were in their 20s, early 20s, and you know, typical assholes on vacation. And there was this woman that was with her family, and of course they were from the U.S. So they saw me and this is just another Mexican because I look Peruvian, which is just another South American country. Don't worry, guys, just one more of those. So yeah, we look similar to Mexicans in that regard. Okay, so. This woman, I think she said it with her best intention, like she wasn't trying to be mean or hurtful or anything. And she was saying, "Oh, come on, you guys, look at him. You know, he must have kids. You know, all these South Americans have a lot of children. He needs to feed them." I was 21 at that time, and
you're just sitting there doing the math in your head. You're like, how many kids? Excuse me?
It's not uncommon for Latin people to have children really early.
The cultural thing.
Yeah. So more like it's accidents that happen.
Yeah.
Teen pregnancy, it's a really common thing. Most families have it. So
that's unfortunate.
Something clicked in my mind, and instead of just being offended by just being profiled that way, I said with my most Mexican accent I could in English. Yes, manitos, you have to buy me the picture because you know I had 3 kids. You know, two of them are how you call them when you have 2 babies in one. You know, two babies that come at the same time. I was going with the broken English and stuff, and
oh my god!
And the woman, yeah, you see, the poor thing is trying to earn a living for his children. Just buy him this picture. And I was telling the woman, oh yes, lady, you're very kind. You know, the Virgin of Guadalupe will protect you because of this.
Oh my god.
And my family in Guanajuato will be very proud of you.
Oh my god.
I was making all this up on the fly. And the woman was so proud of herself.
It's so terrible, but also so amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes in my head it flips like that. It's like, oh yeah, you are trying to throw me to the deep end?
It's like, oh, you want to make this nasty assumption? I'll take all your money. Come
I'm
here.
a fucking submarine, bitch. I can go deeper. And this thing went on and on because apparently people heard from that woman that, oh yeah, there's this Mexican poor guy that works there and blah blah.
He's got like 7 children and he works 3 jobs and we just have to help the poor fellow.
Yeah, in the end of the week, I had in my wallet I had pictures with children that were really badly photoshopped, and this was the thing with my boss. He was the best boss I ever had. He allowed me to learn things at work, and if I was studying a book and there was work to do, he told me, oh yeah, you learn that thing and let you explain me. I'm gonna do the job, and you keep reading that. And we improved a lot of things that way and made the job easier for us.
What a cool boss.
Oh yeah, he was awesome. He inspired me to go back to university.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, I owe him a lot, spiritually speaking. But yeah, and I thought, yeah, we have to do this. We have to shop this, and we did all kinds of photoshops for people that work there as presents and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had pictures of kids and stuff. So yeah, I did this thing that you flip the wallet and all the pictures roll out.
Oh my god! So you just had this big, huge line of photos of just random fucking kids.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, all of them are mine. I am just a poor single father.
And
with like 12
every single time, I just made up a new story on the spot.
Oh my god.
And every time it got more and more ridiculous. And some of the other guys that worked there, they had a really bad English, and they said, yes, yeah, he's telling the truth, and yeah.
Oh, I've met his children. They're wonderful. Yeah, it's just such a shame that we don't get too much money working here. Yeah, you should give him a tip.
It was just hilarious. I was selling ice to the schemers that way.
Oh my god. But you know what? If they're gonna make all these nasty assumptions about you, you may as well take all their money.
Oh yeah.
At that point, they basically owe you.
I took their idea and I ran with it.
God damn. Fucking Christ. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you want to profile me that way? You want to play that way? You don't know who you're playing with.
That's fantastic.
It's like, I don't know why I do this kind of stuff, but I just have a lot of fun. Like,
hey, I mean, like I said, they were making nasty assumptions about you, so you may as well take their money.
Yeah, well, it's not just this kind of people. It's where I lived, I had one of those Church of the End of the Days cults.
Oh.
And of course, the poor guys had to knock every door, and the neighbors were just tired of them because every day they sent new guys, and like, we know you guys. We are at the other side of the street. We know who you are. So yeah, you cannot sell your stuff here. No one's gonna buy it. And so one day I saw that they had this young couple. They would be like 18, barely 18. Honestly, I think they were 16. But
King Green says, "Si, senor, please.
I need some money.
I'm so poor. Help me."
Oh yes, I can only eat tacos once per month. When the moon comes out, I eat one, and when it goes away, I eat another one.
There's a big draft in my wall because I cannot close the window. I can only put a tarp over it, please.
Sir, please, I don't have a window. I don't even have a wall.
Yeah, my house has no walls. My house doesn't have a wall. Can you spare me some change? Maybe I can buy a new wall. I can only afford the one wall. It's like a bad game of The Sims. If you give me some money, I can buy another wall, and then it'll count as a trade.
Yeah, going back to that story. I saw this guy said, yeah, they're gonna try to sell me their religion today.
Oh boy.
They didn't know who they were messing with. So
they made a terrible mistake coming to see you.
Yes, they did. They actually end up running away.
Oh. Well,
here comes the thing. So I lived in the third floor. So I saw them from my window. Oh yeah, they're coming. Oh yeah. It's gonna take them like 10-15 minutes to reach my door. Yeah, I have it. So I went to the toilet. I grabbed some makeup. I got my darkest clothes that I had. One of my friends left a Slipknot t-shirt, so I put it on. And it was extra baggy, so I got some change from the dog of a friend around my neck, and I got really dark makeup all over my eyes, white makeup all over my face.
Oh Lord, they must have opened up the door and thought you were the devil. Just like, oh no.
Oh no, I just applied their technique. like they just got to knock once because I was waiting behind the door.
Oh, you were right on the other side of the door.
And then I opened it really fast. Like I didn't give the guy a chance to knock a second time. It's like, whoa! He just goes
I've
forward.
been waiting for you.
And I'm opening with my eyes really open, mouth really open, looking at them like they're the best thing in the world, like that. It's like, oh, hello, brother. We have come from the church to speak about the truth. He was like this. Oh, yes, Bern, I know. The great Father Demon has sent you to speak to me. They were shitting their pants. And
Oh my
I grabbed them both by the wrist.
You're like, please
yes,
come in.
please come in. The great Father Demon was stuck with all of us. Let's make a sacrifice so he can be happy. No, but we came to talk to you. Yes, we can talk. We can talk. Father Demon wants to talk. He told me that you were coming. And the thing is, they had the badges with the names. And I called them by the names, straight to the eyes.
And they didn't realize you were reading them off the
Yes,
fucking
of course they did.
thing.
Because they were shitless. I looked them straight into oh, Joseph, I know you. I knew you were coming. I could hear you.
Oh my God.
You, Barry, I could smell you.
The demon said you were coming. I'm very happy.
I was going like that for like a couple more minutes, like, yes, Big Demon likes you really much. He loves you. His love is everywhere. He sees everything. He wants everything. He wants you. He wants everything inside of you. I was just going through everything I heard them say. Like, they had that speech. Oh, yeah, Christ loved you, and you should be loved. Yeah, join us in Christ and all that stuff, you know. So I was
Except you're just changing it like the demon, but also all of those things. Oh
yeah,
my God.
the exact same thing. I just changed a few words here and there. And
That's
they
hysterical.
just run away.
I bet they did. Oh my God. That's hilarious.
And I was shouting a bit, don't run. The Father Demon wants to
Oh,
meet
no.
you. He needs
Oh no,
you.
you have to leave. Oh no.
Save your souls. I was in the flight upstairs, like it was one of these things that the priest used to stand above. I don't know how it's called.
A pulpit?
Yes, a pulpit. Like one of those. It was similar to that. It had almost the same shape. So I was hanging there with my arms open, screaming at them. And they were just running for their lives. The thing is, they never came back.
I bet everybody in the apartment was like, oh, thank God. They're never coming back.
I think they just parked the building with a big X. Nope.
Like, don't go here. Yeah. Not that dramatic, but we did have some. We had a couple of times that like people showed up at my house doing stuff like that. One time they did not actually come in. They just stood at the bottom of the driveway and stared up at our house for a while. My father kindly let me know that those were Jehovah's Witnesses. So I mean, good for them, I guess.
Yeah. I have a friend that he's a good friend of mine, and he's a Jehovah's Witness. But the thing is, we don't let that thing interfere between our friendship. You know, we respect each other's vision, and we talk about it. Like, yeah, we do this. Okay, we don't do that. So we establish a common ground that we can both enjoy. You know.
Good.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, it's okay. The only one that I was ever like directly a part of was when my folks were out, and it was just me and two ladies from one of the because we have like three local churches knocked on the door, and I opened it to see the two of them, and I already knew what they were about, and so I was not happy when I opened the door. I'm like, yeah, They're like, do you have a moment to talk about Jesus? And I'm like, no. Are your parents home? No. Well, can we leave some stuff with you? I'd rather you didn't. And they're like, oh, why not? And they start telling me, like, oh, but Jesus is so wonderful, and da 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 da. And I looked at them, and I'm like, have you ever actually read your book, the Bible? And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, really? Even the part that taught you how teaches you how to the proper way to beat your slaves? And they're like, there's no part in the Bible like that. I'm like, there 100% is. And they're like, we don't do that. And I'm like, what about the part that tells you that if a woman has her period, she needs to be beaten with a branch and put in a box until it stops?
That's a good one.
We don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Don't come back. And I shut the door in their faces, and they left a bunch of like pamphlets on the door, and I took them and just walked right out the door as they were driving away, ripped them up and threw them in the garbage, and they never came back. And I'm like, good. And I told my mom, and she's like, Alex, now they're gonna put, oh no, I'm sorry, they did come back to talk to my mom, and they gave her a flyer for some Easter thing, and I took it from them and tore it up and threw it out. And mom was like, Alex, that might have been fun. And I'm like, no, it would not. And we are not doing that. This was because God, this was their flyer was something of like how it was like shaming teen pregnancy by having it was like a picture of a girl in a like a bridal dress, like clearly pregnant, tears are running down her face, her makeup's all screwed up, and it's like it was like something to the effect of like implying that her having this happen to her is her fault and is sinful, and things would be better if she just believed in Jesus.
Yeah, or if like, she didn't exist the way that she's existed.
Yeah, they're like, so like come to the church for this Easter thing, and this is the picture. And I was like, we are not going to this. Absolutely no. And I looked at her, I'm like, you know where it is and when it will be. If you want to go, then go. I ain't going to that. That's awful. And of course my mom didn't go. She never was gonna.
That's still, it's so terrible to do these things.
Yeah.
To people, especially when these kind of religions, because it's not only that one. There are so many variants. They preach, oh yeah, everything is love, and then the first thing you teach others is to hate.
Yeah, and that's awful. Like, again, I'm not like anti-religion. If you're like religious or whatever, and you're living your best life, cool, awesome, have fun. I just don't like the double standard that the institution itself presents. I don't like that so many of them tell their practitioners that they have to fit into some like impossible mold, and if they don't, they're horrid.
Yeah, unless they pay.
Yeah, unless you pay.
Yeah.
If you pay them. Yeah, okay. Never mind that the dude that you're praying to once said that it is easier to fit a camel through the eye of a needle than for a wealthy person to enter heaven. But hey, money.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I love to remind them. It's like, oh, you know that your God was Jewish.
Yeah, like, oh, you know
that riles him up so hard. It's just hilarious to watch him. No, that can't be, because this thing, it's the original creator. It's like, did you read the Bible?
I'm like, did you read your book? I don't think you did.
You have literally two big sections. One is called the Old One, the Old Testament, and then you have the New One, and the division. It's this guy.
Yeah, and that Old Testament is actually the Jewish Torah. So. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. I have a Jewish friend who can confirm. It is the book.
Yeah, well, come on. You guys have a lot in common.
I got into an argument about stuff like that with one of the ladies at the first job I had, which was not a curator. I was basically a shopkeeper, but I think the title was curator of the gift shop in a pottery. And it was during the Christmas sale, which was when I could get tons of extra hours and lots of extra money. So I worked basically every day for a few hours, And boy, that first year was their burnout. But people who were members of the pottery, one of the things they had to do to keep their membership is they had to volunteer their time for this. And so they did, and then they usually ended up working with me. And a lot of them didn't actually do any work. They'd like sit there and knit, or they'd talk to each other, and I'd be doing everything, or they'd be sitting there breaking the computer again.
Of course.
Yeah, but I got into this argument with this woman because she insisted that we put on a Christmas Carol station on Pandora. So we did. And her logic behind it was that it will remind people of Christmas, and then they'll feel guilty they haven't bought a gift yet, so they'll purchase more shit. And I was like, okay, because it was the day before Christmas, so it would be Christmas Eve that evening. So it was one of the few days I wasn't doing the entire day because I was going to go to visit my family. So a song comes on, and there are no lyrics, I want to point out at first. Like, there's nobody singing. And the song is playing, and I start singing the lyrics because I know them. The song is Greensleeves. And this woman at the counter whips her head around. She goes, "What are you singing?" And I'm like, "Oh, the lyrics to the song, it's Greensleeves." And she goes, "No, it's not. It's a song about Jesus." And I'm like, "No, it is a song about a guy who has been pining over a woman that he refers to as Greensleeves, because those are the color of her dress. And basically, he confesses to her, she rejects him, and this is his song about how upset he is that she has done this." And she's like, "No, it is a song about Jesus in the manger." And I'm like, "No, it isn't." She's like, "Well, that's what I have heard. That's how I always heard it. How would they be the same? It can't be a coincidence." And I'm like, "Well, it's not a coincidence, but if you want to know where it came from, then that is probably because members of the Christian faith took the tune and rewrote the song."
Yeah.
"Are you saying they stole it?" I'm like, "I mean, if you want to put it that way, yeah. Christianity's stolen a lot of stuff from other religions. That's how they converted them." And she got real mad about that. And I just threw my hands in and went, okay. And then she said something later on that made me go like, oh, I hope I never end up working alongside this lady again, which was that she just, apropos of nothing, out of the blue, announced loudly that she didn't understand why she had to work on Christmas Eve. And I'm like, you should have picked a different time. And there's nobody else to. She's like, "Can't we call somebody?" And I'm like, "Well, that wouldn't be really fair. You know, I mean, they've got stuff to do today too, I'm sure." And she goes, "Well, what about the members who are Jews? I'm sure they don't have anything to do today. It's not their holiday. It's Christmas Eve." And I just sat there and I was like, "Oh no, nope." I'm like, "That's not okay." And I just like stared around the room. I'm like, I really hope nobody else in here heard that. But like, the like a dark part of me was like, man, if somebody in this room, one of these potential customers, is Jewish, that would be like so fucked. And if they are, I really hope they come over and give her a piece of their mind, because that was a really screwed up thing to say.
Oh boy.
They were not, and they didn't. But I heard that, and I sat there and I was like, that is not good. King Greed says, "The problem with religion is that as soon as you start talking about it, people try to talk it nice." And I mean, yeah, they usually do. If you say anything negative about it, people get really mad.
Yeah. But I have a very particular vision about having a faith. Mm-hmm. And I know most people will not share it, and that's okay. Because diversity is good. In my personal opinion, I think like having a faith or a religion, whatever you want to call it, is like having a penis. You can have one. It's okay. Some people have it. Some others don't have it. But you know what's not okay? If you go around shoving it on other people's throats.
Exactly, especially children.
Yeah. So that's my point of view.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I agree. I think it's perfectly fine to have religion, and you can believe it as much as you want to, even if you believe it in a way that I would disagree with. I just don't like it when people, either try to push it on others, or especially kids, and especially their own kids, or use it as justification to harm other people.
Yeah, I will not go to convince anyone to, stop believing in the thing that you believe. It's like, that's your business.
Yeah.
You choose to do whatever you want with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Just the moment I step in is when someone gets harmed, like, because I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing people get harmed. So that's when I get nosy, and I get to step in and stuff. And maybe I shouldn't, perhaps, but that's.
Well, I suppose at the very least, the person who's getting bullied would probably appreciate it. At least sometimes. I mean, there's sometimes where stepping in on a situation does make it worse.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's.
You remember that Flintstones comic I linked you some time ago?
Yeah. I read a bunch of it. It's actually super good.
It's really good, and it had a really good line that I really liked. I wasn't expecting that line at all in a comic like that. That says, "Society will not amount to anything unless we learn to care about those we don't know anything about."
Agreed.
And yeah, that's surprisingly accurate. That's what society should mean,
Yeah, and so I like I said, there's sometimes where butting in on something is actually going to be worse for the victim, primarily if it's a case where they can't they have to go home with the person who's being awful to them, because usually they'll have that taken out on them. But like on the whole, if it's like random people being awful to other people, like, I don't know, somebody bumps into somebody on the street and decides that now is the time to throw hands or whatever, then like 100%, if you feel like you need to get involved, do it. Go for it.
But
make a scene.
To anyone hearing this, these are our own opinions. You don't have to follow any of this.
Yeah, of course. This is it's just my personal opinion. Like, in my opinion, if you feel like you should get involved in like somebody harassing somebody and putting a stop to it, go for it. Call the cops, walk over, pretend you're like, if like pretend you're that person's friend and you've been looking for them, and then get them out of that place. It's actually something women do a lot for other women if we see them getting harassed in places. Even if we don't know them, a lot of women will just walk over to that other girl and be like, "Hey, I've been looking for you. Where you been?" And then you just like grab them by the arm and leave.
Yeah. I have done similar things. I went to people that were arguing like really hard like that, and I thought, "Hey, what are you doing to my cousin?" Establishing something like that. And if they say something that comes yelling and that it's bulky, I say, "Oh, okay," and they think twice what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. But, I just noticed it's 6:00.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Please take a look at the screen. Let me know what you think.
Oh man, she's looking so good.
I did some cleanup in general.
Legendary 100 says good night, Owu.
Oh yeah, you can call him by his name. He's Alfonso.
Alfonso. I'm sure that I will forget that because I'm terrible with people's names, and for that I am so sorry.
Or you can tell him Illo Alfonso.
I will try to remember that.
Like Yo-Yo?
Yo-Yo.
Like you said, Iyo.
Iyo?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, I will do my best to remember that is his name.
It's like that's
I'll
like
just
saying
call him Legendary.
dude. Yeah. That's like saying dude for Southern Spanish people.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, thank you for another great night. I really enjoyed the company. And maybe we got a bit too serious in the end.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if that was a turnoff for people. I try, like I said before, like I try not to be, but oh well.
Oh, you, Hunter and Lucia. He's really happy with you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my kitty is scratching her scratchy pad.
Yeah.
I always have to make sure that's what she's going after and not the rug. Sometimes she tries to fight the rug. She's bored. But I'm sorry.
Come on, Rock.
Yeah.
Our fight will be legendary.
Yes!
You may have the low ground, but I have the high ground.
I'll show you. But yeah, I had a lot of fun too. And this is coming out so great.
Yeah, we're making progress. And
yeah,
maybe next time we can give her some color.
Ooh, yes.
Before we start posting her. Because I feel that we're getting close to getting her cleaned up, so we can start posting her and stuff.
Yeah, I think the only part, aside from the helmet, that's still part of the original sketch is just the legs.
Yeah, the fingers. Yeah.
Oh, and the fingers.
They're a bit of a sausage right now.
Yeah, that's fine. Her fingers are basically little sausage fingers. I think I think maybe they have like a little claw at the end, but yeah. Ah, she looks so good. I love it.
Yeah, if anything you can think of that we should add her, change or anything like, just let me know and we can do it.
Yeah, I think overall, she looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Like you said, there's just like the finer details to add and a little bit of cleanup, and then she's good.
Yeah, that's the thing with this, that it looks horrible in the beginning and slowly gets better. Like,
yeah, it's like working with clay. As at first, it's just like a mass. And then you
exactly. It's just like that. The digital clay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us one more day. Next Friday, we'll be here.
Yeah.
And we will continue, maybe adding some color this time.
Be so cute. King Green says, "Good night, guys. It was fun again. I hope we see you next time again." And yeah, I hope we see you next time too. I'm gonna have to get all my stuff together and start streaming, and then let everybody know where that is, and you can watch me spend an hour making cake.
Damn it, we didn't do it. Come on, splash all your socials right now.
Throw all my socials before it's over.
Do it.
Yeah. Let me go grab all my social things.
We forgot to do. Come on.
I'm bad. I'm sorry.
You forgot to promote yourself. Come on. What's wrong with you?
Where is the promotion?
You should be telling people, yeah, this is my stuff, my websites.
I'm trying.
Buy my OnlyFans.
I don't have one of those.
Well, there's an idea.
Oh God, I don't think I would have the courage to do anything like that.
Hey, I know people that have an OnlyFans for the characters, that they draw stuff and they put it
for
there.
real.
Yes.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess if the girls or critters I draw, there we go. There's all my stuff. Ever get popular enough to need that?
No, apparently they legit use for OnlyFans. It's for music and videos. That people will do that for their fans, you know.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And at least in Spain, there were a couple of artists that released their stuff on OnlyFans. So, yeah.
Oh. That's interesting to know.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually. All right. Well, but yeah, we'll see everybody next time. And those are all of my social links that I've spammed in the thing. Feel free to check them all out.
Yeah, check it out. Please give her a follow, because otherwise she wouldn't be here. No, I can't be alone.
Hanky sounds like Dr. Doofenshmirtz. That's funny.
Do I?
Yeah. From oh my God, what's the fucking name of the thing?
Phineas and Ferb, I think it's...
Phineas and Ferb, yeah. He's the arch enemy
yeah,
of...
I know who he is, but I never realized, I have to invent a real estate then.
Yeah, I feel like you
or
could do pretty
something.
mean Doofenshmirtz
Well,
impression.
I
Yeah.
do voices every now and then, and I do some voice coaching for voice actors, and
Oh,
well, direction. Like I give them clues on how to become the characters and stuff like that.
ah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and just one quick thing before we go.
Yeah.
With the actors, there's an exercise I do that it's a bit of improvisation. So I teach the actors to get into character and to feel like them. So what I'll do, I'll take them through a few rounds of improvisation, and I will try to break them. And
Oh,
so
trying to get
I
them to break character.
yes, and
Nice.
I get the wackiest characters each time. It's like I go slow, and then the next one they encounter is crazier or stupider or in some way that will infuriate or will get the people confused. So that, and one of them, it's Bane. And the thing with my Bane is that he cannot decide anything for himself. He has to roll the dice. So every time that Bane needs to make a decision, he will roll a d20.
It's like Two-Face, but more so.
I treat Bane like a big kid.
Hey, I mean, that's not a bad way to look at him.
No,
He kind of
it's
acts like a giant child
it's
sometimes.
an innocent big kid having fun. That's how I treat him. But people see Bane, a big hulking guy, just squatting on the floor, throwing a dice, trying to decide what to do. People tell him, "Move away! I want to go through." Like, wait, I need to roll the dice.
Hold on a minute, I haven't made a choice yet.
Yeah.
Don't be mean.
Okay.
Wait your turn.
So sorry for the tangent.
It's okay. It was
Again,
funny.
thank you guys for being here. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Take care.